Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a brand new episode of Friday Night WrestleCast. I'm your host, Richard Bailey Jr., and tonight I'm joined by Mr. Adam Vale. How's it going, Adam?
It's going good. Strong style. Strong style. For those who are just listening, I have a Shinsuke Nakamura shirt. It says strong style.
Yes. Hey, looking forward to seeing how they use them. We'll talk about that later because, yeah, I have something to say on that. Also joined by Miss Dana Abercrombie. How's it going, Dana?
Dana style. Dana style.
That's good. That's good. And we're also joined by Mr. Ricardo Negron. How's it going, Ricky?
Ricky style.
I guess. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Not as strong style.
You know, I had to explain that to somebody because somebody saw it was like strong style. Wait, that's wrestling, right? I was like, well, yeah, it's wrestling. I was like, well, so does that mean like it's real fight? Isn't that like the next level of what they're doing? I was like, well, it's stiff shots. They're actually hitting and then it's just stiff. Well, then that's real, right? They're getting hurt. I'm like, shit, you're making me think. Stop this shit. I was like, strong style. Well, yeah, sometimes they do get hurt, but.
Yeah. Perhaps. Well, hey, perhaps I was going to say maybe it should be called stiff style, but they just go with strong instead. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who knows? All right, but yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new episode tonight. Obviously, last weekend was Elimination Chamber, and we definitely have some thoughts on that as well as everything else that happened throughout the week. But before we get to that, I'm going to pass the mic over to Dana, and she can let us know about all of the exciting events that took place this week in wrestling. So
I gotta do something.
that was wonderful.
There you
Thank you. Okay, here we go. Alberto Del Rio, or El Patron, his contract with Impact Wrestling is set to expire next month. And he has mentioned that he wants to return to the WWE. And he's even apologized to the company and Triple H personally. No word on whether or not he apologized to Paige. Former WWE writer Alex Greenfield has revealed why Vince McMahon still keeps Kevin Dunn around, even though the ratings have been in the toilet. And, usually on regular shows, the producer would be fired by now.
It's blackmail.
But Kevin, he says there are absolutely times when it felt like Vince saw through KD's bullshit. Most of the time, though, if there was a direct conflict between Kevin and anyone else, Vince would end up taking KD's position. I think it's a weird kind of confirmation bias. Vince will stoke KD by talking about how he's the best producer in the world, and it's a crime he'll never win an Emmy. So, coupled with Kevin's jiu-jitsu-like ability to throw people under the bus for his mistakes, I think Vince sees Kevin Dunn as his absolute loyal maestro, despite all the outside evidence. I've put it like this a few times. In no other branch of televised entertainment does a show lose more than half of its audience and keeps its executive producer in place. Not drama, not comedy, not reality. Yet WWE is the only person never to blame for a drop in ratings or a network dropping a show or anything that falls in his domain of responsibility is Kevin Dunn. The guy's untouchable and makes absolutely no sense. Now, officials are really worried about the steroid ring allegations against Roman Reigns. We've covered that on the show repeatedly. And as a backup, they are looking at Strowman in case Reigns needs to be replaced from the Universal Championship match at WrestleMania. So good news, if you do some drugs, you won't have to see Roman. Sonny was just arrested today for multiple violations of not appearing in court. And with these charges, along with her priors from last arrest, she could face 5 years in jail. During a new interview, Sasha Banks shared her thoughts on taking her problems and questions straight to Vince McMahon instead of the writers. anytime that she wants something done. She says, as anyone that's ever worked with WWE will attest to, Vince McMahon is a very intimidating figure, at least in the beginning. By all accounts, the company owner becomes a lot more approachable the more you get to know him. And many superstars actually prefer to take their questions and problems directly to him, bypassing the writers' team. Honestly, that's the biggest thing, not being afraid to stand up for yourself. If you're very passionate about something, he's the man to talk to. I've learned that it's actually very easy to talk to him, and so much better for me to talk to him than to talk to the writers, because you get the right answer and you get it right away. You kind of understand that he wants what he wants from you as a performer. It's been so much easier talking to him, and I feel less intimidated.
And next week she gets fired.
It's lonely.
There you go.
It said that Vince doesn't really take a very active role in what goes on in the women's division, but based on Sasha's comments, that doesn't seem to be the case. Also, WrestleMania 34, they just released a bunch of items, well, basically 4 items, that's going to be banned from the venue. So if you plan on bringing these, you will have to confiscate them or throw them out, or who knows. But right now we have balloons and beach balls because they distract the fans from what's happening in the ring. As we remember, Cesaro last year at SummerSlam, he was very vocal about this, and he also destroyed one of the beach balls that was floating around. And he explained it, how he felt disrespected by the crowd. You had him and Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins were for the WWE Tag Team Champions. And he says, we poured our hearts out into the match, and I look out and I see some schmuck playing with a beach ball. So I decided to put an end to that, because if I'm in the ring and that's the most exciting thing to watch, the fans say Cesaro is underappreciated, and you have a hell of a match and they do something like that. So that's just disrespectful, and I put a stop to that. Not on my watch. Also being confiscated or banned from the venue is kind of weird, but iPads and tablets. That should be interesting. Kane, real name Glenn Jacobs, and The Undertaker, Mark Calloway, are back together again. It's not for wrestling. This time it was at a Glenn Jacobs for Mayor Republican rally on Thursday. And Glenn was there, trying to get signatures. He was taking pictures, and he also had his demon mask with him. And if you don't know, even though he's a part-timer at WWE, he is running for mayor at Knox County, Tennessee. So if he wins, of course, he plans to step down. But right now, he's just in campaign mode. NBC Universal announced they're cutting back on the number of commercials that viewers see in prime time in 2018 and 2019. The change is scheduled to begin in the fall of this year, so we're getting less commercials. Yay, and more, Reigns talking for the next 45 minutes.
Well, you know what? I mean, there's got to be a give and take. So what are they giving the advertisers that are doing it? Maybe they get longer commercials?
Well, those that are going to air, they have, longer commercials.
And probably have more advertising baked into the programming itself.
You know what I think works, and they should continue doing it? It's what they did with Smackdown through the first half of Smackdown, where you'll see the commercials like a picture-in-picture, and the wrestling's happening on the top. And then you can still see the commercial, and you'll still have the match going on. I think that's great. Why don't they just do that full-time?
Well, that is true. But they also said that viewers might see 2 or 3 longer commercials instead of 5 30-second ads during the break. And that NBC is promoting a prime pod for advertisers. So a 60-second ad break in the first or last commercial of a show, which will be sold to 1 or 2 advertisers. And that they said that they expect a 10% reduction in commercial time, which translates to 2 to 4 minutes extra in an episode length. So that's that. It doesn't say whether or not they're cutting down their the prices for the ads, but everyone wins, I guess. In WWE gaming news, both Fusion this is for Supercards. For WWE Supercard, both Fusion and Throwback cards will be available in game, while the Hall of Fame cards will be inducted starting on Wednesday, March 7th. players can look forward to many new cards, including Samoa Joe, Macho Man Randy Savage, Goldberg, and there's going to be many more that they plan to announce throughout the coming days. 2K announced that there are more than 50 new cards coming to WWE Supercard Season 4, including new throwbacks, fusions, and Hall of Fame. Also, there's going to be Beast, Monster, and Titan tiers. So if you're into that, good for you. Impact announced today that they are co-promoting with Lucha Underground during WrestleMania weekend. So during WrestleCon in New Orleans, Impact Wrestlers will face off against the stars of Lucha Underground starting on Friday, April 6th at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And that is going to have El Patron, El Drake, Moose, Eddie Edwards, LAX, and Sammy Callahan, as well as Trevor Lee and Brian Cage. The Knockouts will be there. Allie, Rosemary, Taya, Valkyrie, Big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner. Good for him.
He's still wrestling.
He's still in there. He's gonna be there. He's gonna be in the house, and he's live and uncensored. Lucha Underground will have Drago, Killshot, The Mac, Jack Evans, and more. They're gonna be announcing the matches in the coming weeks. And there's also going to be both Impact and Lucha is going to host a VIP meet and greet on April 6th, starting at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So for fans who purchase front row and second row tickets, you will gain access automatically, and you'll get free autographs, and you'll be able to take photos and ask questions and do your business, whatever you have to do with them. According to Sports Illustrated, The Miz is now expected to defend his Intercontinental title at WrestleMania 34 in a 5-way against Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, Braun Strowman, and Elias. In conflicting reports, The Undertaker has been ruled out of WrestleMania 34, and the principal reason for choosing that is because they decided to go with Rey Mysterio as Cena's opponent. However, there are still reports saying that The Undertaker is going to be there and he's going to face Cena. So whichever one we get, I'm pretty sure we'll be disappointed.
So wait. Rewind. You're telling me Rey Mysterio is going to jump in for Cena to go against Cena?
That's what the reports are saying.
Because if that happens, Cena is losing. There's no way you're gonna have Rey come like, can you do the job to Cena? No, I'm not doing that. No job.
You look at him. He's been such a good sport about everything that I don't think he minds losing.
Well,
he's been losing all these other matches. He barely won the one that he won Smackdown. So against AJ. I don't know. Oh, well,
hold on a second. So are you saying that if Cena faces Undertaker, that he will beat Undertaker?
No, he was gonna go down in that one too. But that's why it's like I just don't. It's just the whole Rey thing throws me off, because at least Undertaker, it's like it makes sense. You go out on top. That's what we were hoping for. Everybody wants to see him go out on top. But with Rey, then it brings up a bunch of questions, because then people are like, well, is he back full time? Was this a one-off? If this is a one-off, he just went over on Cena. What's going on? Because I heard also the same thing that Rey Mysterio is definitely showing up. But I heard it was for some kind of battle royal or something that they're thinking of doing. And it's not going to be the Andre. They're not sure about calling it the Andre anymore. They might do something else. But I don't know. I mean, if they do that, they got to really hype it and come up with some way to explain it, because I don't think he's full-time. Remember that? Wasn't that the whole thing? He did not want to sign to a full-time contract. So they have, 2 weeks or so, or 3 weeks to really flush this out and explain, hey, Rey's back. What show? Doesn't fucking matter. He's back. Is he full-time? You ask too many questions. He's back. Oh, well, whatever. Is that what we're supposed to do? I mean, I don't know.
No, but here's the thing, though. I see this as this happening. Cena goes to WrestleMania, and he's like, I need an open challenge, anybody, because no one, he needs a match, and he doesn't have a match yet. So I can see Rey Mysterio popping in there and doing his little 619 and calling it a day.
So then that means that, all right, so he loses at Fastlane, right? Because we know he's going to lose at Fastlane in that 5-way. Then he comes out complaining he doesn't have a match. And then you're saying Rey Mysterio come out and be like, I'm your Huckleberry. And it's like, oh.
Yeah.
And then they do one of those.
Yeah, remember like last year when they had the Hardys come back so they can have like New Day and we have someone for you. And here goes Booyaka Booyaka and then he comes.
Yeah. I guess so.
It works either way.
Mm-hmm.
So
and here comes the Booyaka Booyaka. He jumps out from the ground. It's like, yeah. And then Undertaker grabs him from behind. Gotcha, little man. Oh, no. And then it's a three-way.
That works as well. That really does work.
There you go.
WWE has considered changing the Andre the Giant Battle Royal for a women's Battle Royal match in order to give the women's division more importance at WrestleMania. And apparently you can't have both men and women, do an Andre the Giant Battle Royal. I don't know why we're changing one for another, but
I mean, that's what I'm saying. No one really cares too much about the Battle Royal as it is. They don't really play it up. You know what I mean? They don't really do much with it. They give a big ass trophy that the guy can't walk around, so the universe doesn't really remember that shit unless they hear the announcers. So I mean, they need to change it. Give like a ring or something.
Didn't Baron Corbin win his?
Yeah, he won the last one, but he doesn't walk down to the ring with it. It's just he won it. It's like, okay. Like, for example, like the King of the Ring. Remember when they won that? They got a crown, right? And they used to walk around with the crown. So have something like that people can be reminded, like, oh, wow, he did win something that matters in this universe.
It's all about booking. They don't know how to hype anything up.
Like the women's match of that, it's like no one cares about the regular one. It's like, so then it should be called the Beulah McGillicuddy. There you go. Bring that in, and that'd be funny. That way they get that type of award. And it can't call it the Andre. It makes sense.
Well, you remember Mojo Rawley won it, and like his big thing was posing with it every week. But
yeah, that's right. Because Bronk from the best team in the world, New England Patriots, he came out to help him win that one. Remember that? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we might be seeing more Gronk in the ring in the future.
The New England Screwjob is what they called it in my imaginary world. That's what they called it. Yeah, I'm telling you, he came out and he threw him a deflated football, and the guy caught it, and then he speared him. It was like, bah!
Jinder Mahal's an Eagles fan. That very much is certain.
And he's Canadian, so that doesn't fly for me either way. So I don't get it, but whatever. They got their own league, man. Support your own shit. Got Canadian Football League. They got video games for that.
We're getting into Jonathan Coachman territory, where if you talk about anything other than WWE, you get Michael Cole interrupting you.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing. You would think the coach knows better, especially with the way Vince feels about the NFL. You know what I mean? That's his real enemy. Remember the whole Monday Night Wars? It's really with Monday Night Football. And for Coach to come in and just keep giving those NFL references, like, stop. He doesn't like. Did you not know your boss is starting another football league, and you're talking about the competition? What is wrong with you? Shit.
Well, I think, he don't care about that now. He will definitely be more restrictive with that when NFL starts back up, though. Later this year, the season. That's my guess, though.
By the way, why not have this guy face Cena?
Oh, well, hey, I can answer that question.
And what's that?
Because that guy is too busy in Hollywood making movies with Marvel, and he said that when he comes back, he wants to face Triple H in his final match. So maybe next year.
See that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead, Dana. You had a couple other things I think you wanted to address.
Lord. John Cena is expected to challenge Nakamura at Fastlane for his WrestleMania title shot.
Well, that is no longer valid because now John Cena is in the 5-way.
Yeah, he's in the 5-way.
Yeah, he's in that 5-way match now with Dolph Ziggler, Baron Corbin, Kevin Owens, or Sami Zayn, and AJ Styles.
Yeah, he beat AJ clean in that match.
Yeah, on SmackDown he beat him.
Yeah.
Or he could beat AJ and then demand a shot and Nakamura.
Well, if he beats AJ, he'll be champion. So then that means that'll be the WrestleMania match, and fans will not. They'll be mad to see that.
Yeah. Nobody wants to see that. They want to see AJ and Nakamura. That's what they want to see. If they don't get that WrestleMania, buy rates are gonna drop because that's what everybody wants to see, and that's what they promised. Nobody wants to see John Cena in any damn match. You know what? It's like I respect him. He's been around a long time, but he's been around a long time. He's faced everybody. You know what I mean? He's done it. He's been there. It's like when they're like, "Oh, you could be 17-time champion." That means he lost it 16 times. He had it enough. There's people in the back that haven't even had it once. So it's like, yo, just move over. Why is it always got to be about you? Why can't you just be a supporting cast member? It's just. And I think of like Family Matters, when the Winslow family, they didn't get upset when it became all about Urkel. They just accept it. Just move over. It's time to step aside. Let somebody else shine. So that's why it's like I'm kind of upset that this storyline that they have of like my path to Mania, it's on him. It should be on somebody up and coming. There's plenty of up and coming guys that they could easily have tagged that on, and they should have did that months ago. I feel like it's too short notice now of doing it. Hell, Dolph Ziggler would have been perfect for it before they lost track of what they were doing with him. They could have had that. It's like, yeah, this is my time to WrestleMania. Lost this match, because he was already losing matches. Remember, he was talking all that smack with Shinsuke, and he was losing. And he did it with Bobby. I mean, it's just. They could have just said, well, this is his story, and then he gets there. Why would Cena? I don't get it. I just don't get it. He don't need it. You know what I mean? You don't need it. Don't need it.
Oh, that's well, hey, I don't know who wrote that story, but
we'll I feel like doing the new Woken Matt Hardy clap when he. Oh, look who's here! What 17-time champion, right? Do it 17 times. Oh, that's too many times. That's too many times. They're so greedy, so greedy. There's no need. So all right, think about it. He wins it 17 times. Then what? No one cares. 17 doesn't mean shit. You know what means shit? 1. The first time you win it. That means shit. People are like, damn, he finally won it. Shinsuke won it. Nobody wants to see John Cena win
this. Strong style. Like
there you go. Right? Strong style to the face. That's it. So I don't think it's gonna happen. And then then it fits fine. Go against Rey Mysterio. They just have to figure out a story to link it up. Explain it. Just explain it, because there's going to be a lot of questions because Rey Mysterio's not on the roster. So I'm like, all right, so is he back for this match? He's got to talk, and just give a quick rundown on what's going on, and a shout out to Lucha Underground, and that's it. Because I really wish Lucha would partner with WWE. I mean, I know they got issues because the creative writing guys were from there, but almost every federation right now that's out there, at least somebody on their creative worked at WWE. That's just the bottom line. I mean, they've been around forever. But Lucha is so offbeat. It's so in another direction that it fits perfect with WWE because it's not competition at all. Impact still is trying to be WWE. Ring of Honor, in a way, it's its own thing, but it's still sort of on the same line of what WWE does. Fucking Lucha Underground, you got people losing their souls, you got people dying, you got demons, you got all kinds of that is so out there. And it's like, all right, that can work. And almost everybody wears masks. So you can do like some cross, talent relation swapping, like what they did with ECW. Remember when they sent Al Snow to ECW and like, yo, do something with him. And they did with the head. They did with Rhino. Here, take this dude. What can you do with him? Well, we're going to make him the Beast Rhino and make him look dirty and greasy. And it worked. So the same thing, just send some of your guys over to Lucha Underground. Some Lucha can send Matanza and do a whole thing, go back and forth. It'll be fun, and then they get to hit that market that they want to hit, which is the Latin market. They want to keep going to Mexico and doing all this stuff. Well, you got Lucha Underground right there on the border in LA. So, and they already got the following. They got, Pentagon and all the other dudes on the Phoenix, a lot of luchas, known luchas, and it'll work out. But nope. We got Lucha Underground freaking partying with Impact. Who gives a shit? You know, who attaches himself to a sinking ship? When you have a nice ship and you're like, yo, that one's sinking. What do you want to do? Let's throw our anchor on that ship and go with it. No one does that. Don't do it. Don't partner up with them. You know what I mean? No. I don't want to see that. I want Lucha to flourish. Whatever.
Ouch.
There we go.
Yeah. CM Punk and Wade Barrett are hosting the third season of the Netflix show Ultimate Beastmaster. The dream match of the century has been booked for March 17th. Gilbert will finally face James Ellsworth for the IWC High Stakes Championship.
Isn't Gilbert like 60 years old?
Let him live.
He did that gimmick so long ago. He looked old then. Oh, that's not right.
He is happy.
He could be happy. That doesn't mean it's right. I don't want to see that shit.
They're
Papa
both
Smurf versus No Chin Man. No, I don't want to see that.
Stop it. Look, if Mae Young and the other one could wrestle in their 90s, Gilbert.
That's just amazing. I mean, man, Mae Young. Remember when? Who was it? It was Bubba Dudley.
Yep.
When he did the Dudley bomb off the stage, I'm like, how does Grandma pull that shit off? I don't care how much he's protecting. She's still, physics. She's still going down. You know what I mean? It could be on a mat. It doesn't matter. That still impacts for an 80-year-old woman.
Yeah. So
unless they were fudging her numbers. Was she really 80? Maybe she wasn't.
I think she was like 90.
Fuck no, she's no 90. That's instant death right there. No. But she was at that point. I know she maybe later on, but I mean, when she was doing those spots, I don't know if she was that old. She definitely looked old. She aged. There's some people that age.
She was 80.
She was 80. God, man.
And then she went on and gave birth to a hand. So let her live.
Damn, yeah. Remember she had relations with sexual chocolate. Remember that?
Yep. And then she died 10 years later.
10 years? Hey, 10 years later, 90? Are you kidding me? I'll be lucky if I can hit 50. That's nuts, man. She was up. See, they don't make people like that anymore. You don't hear people lasting that long. She was made with the good stuff, She survived polio and all the other shit that was going around during those times, catching all kinds of people. Respect. Damn.
Yep. So she lived through all of that. So let Gilbert live. Thank you. Terry Funk can still take C4 to the back. Gilbert is fine.
He's not human. I saw something. I mean, it's very off topic. Anybody who's watching, listen, it's disturbing. Some kind of match in Japan where this guy took out scissors, and it was stuck on a board pointing up. Open scissors.
No.
Slammed the dude on it. Okay, no. His back was jacked, sliced more. It was like disturbing. I'm like, why are you doing this?
No.
Oh, I couldn't believe I saw that, but yeah, whatever.
That's too much.
Too much, man. CZW back in the day was too much.
It's too much. Way too much. Rocket League has announced their partnership with WWE, and it includes both in-game crossovers and real-life sponsorships. So I know you guys are extremely happy for that. Yay! And
only if they bring back what we all remember, the old WWE TV show with the monster trucks. Remember that?
Wow.
You had the Hogan monster truck and you had the Piper monster truck. Yeah, bring those trucks back, then yeah, I'll be interested. But if they're just regular cars with just some decal that's a Cena on it, no. I want to see Gravedigger, something like that, like what they did with for Undertaker.
Well, maybe we'll see. They'll be playable on April 8th. Anyone who's going to WrestleMania, so you can enjoy your Rocket League John Cena truck. The reason why Braun eliminated everyone except Reigns during Elimination Chamber was so that Braun looked strong. Also giving a legit reason to add Strowman to Reigns versus Lesnar whenever they needed to. Jarvis J.J. Robertson will receive the Warrior Award at the 2018 Hall of Fame. Enzo Amore is being removed from an upcoming episode of Undercover Boss because of his allegations of rape. AJ Styles may be moved to Raw after WrestleMania to freshen up the main event scene. And someone from Smackdown will be coming over to Raw. They don't know who, but that seems to be the plan. Bobby Lashley has agreed to terms with WWE, so we might be seeing him at WrestleMania, or he might make an appearance at Fastlane. Happy 4-year anniversary to the WWE Network. bring back Talking Smack and Talking Raw. Thank you. NXT has named their top 10 matches in TakeOver history. Number 1 is Almas versus Johnny Gargano at the NXT title for the NXT TakeOver Philadelphia. Bayley versus Sasha Banks for the NXT Women's title in a 30-minute Iron Man match at NXT TakeOver Respect. Neville versus Sami Zayn for the NXT title at NXT TakeOver Revolution. Tyler Bates versus Pete Dunne for the WWE UK title at NXT TakeOver Chicago. DIY versus The Revival at NXT Tag Team titles in a 2 out of 3 falls match at the NXT TakeOver Toronto. Sami Zayn versus Shinsuke Nakamura at NXT TakeOver Dallas. Charlotte versus Bayley versus Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch for the NXT Women's title at NXT TakeOver Rival. DIY versus The Revival versus the Authors of Pain for the NXT Tag Team titles at NXT TakeOver Orlando. Asuka versus Ember Moon for the NXT Women's title at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3. Cesaro versus Sami Zayn at NXT TakeOver Arrival. Omega keeps being asked whether or not he is going to join WWE. He keeps saying that he's having too much fun doing what he loves, and he doesn't want to be a robot. He doesn't want to be controlled. And even though they have a lot of great talents and he's friends with a lot of people over there, he wishes them all the best. But he doesn't want to join with them. He's very happy at what he's doing, and he feels that what he's doing now is most important to him. So stop asking him to go over to WWE. Shockingly, Neville is currently talking to WWE about a possible return to the company. So we may see him sometime in April after the current 205 Live tournament is complete. Fox News
I hope so.
Yeah, we all hope
he
so.
just needed a break. I mean, they were working him hard, man. They were doing all kinds of shows.
Triple H is there now, so.
Yeah. Oh, did you see they gave him a break? They skipped a week. There was no 205 this week.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm like, oh wow, look at that. Giving people vacation time. What is going on? Obviously, new management is in the house. Like, you got the night off.
Fox News is prepping a major push to win WWE's television rights from NBC Universal when negotiations on a new contract opens up this spring. So they hope to air SmackDown will move to FX1 and Raw will be on FX2.
You know what?
So
so just to link with that, the only reason why I think and other people should think that this is a good idea is because FX has an actual app. So if they let you log in to watch live, then you can watch Raw and SmackDown on the go, you know, and on your devices. That's something you can't do with the USA Network. You know, you can't watch it live on any streaming device or anything. So that's the only upside to it.
I mean, I'm able to watch it on the go, but I have a Comcast Xfinity, and
you can watch it USA on that. It'll let you. Okay.
It has USA on the go, so I don't think it's like with all the providers and all that. But
so that's with the Comcast. All right, I know what you're talking about, where the provider has like this their own app that lets you do this. Because I'm just saying, like the USA Network, I had their app, I downloaded it thinking that maybe you can't do it on it.
Right.
You know, but the FX one, it's got all the channels in it. You just select the one you want and bloop, live.
My question is this going to be for FX or is it for Fox Sports, like FS1 and all that?
Fox Sports.
Okay. So then that's good because I know for a fact that for Fox Sports that they have an app that they allow they let you stream their stuff on there. Yeah. So that would be great for everyone, you know, and that way you may not even really need to have a cable subscription. But see where that goes.
Yay. And lastly, Big Show has announced that he is going to be back by WrestleMania. So he's going to be in WrestleMania. Who knows doing what? He might end up wrestling John Cena. I don't know at this point.
Creative had nothing for you.
Wait, Big Show. I thought that I heard that Big Show was walking out to sunset and wanted to have a quiet retirement, and that he was going out on his back, you know, like he had against Strowman, and that was it. So for him to come back, it's strange.
But after WrestleMania. He said he'll definitely be back by WrestleMania.
You know, there's one guy who can't wrestle under a mask, right? Because I mean, we would all know who it is. So it's like, what do you do? He's always going to be Big Show. No new gimmick for you, buddy. You know,
the one guy who would absolutely be caught by surprise would be Michael Cole, because Michael Cole is always he's always like, could it be? Who is that? You know, like that whole like,
look who's back.
Yeah.
All right. He did take some big bumps then in that last match with Braun, going through the cell. Remember the cage? Was it a cell?
Yeah, Show. Yeah, he at the end of the match, he like body slammed him like actually through the cage. That was cool.
They could just have him wrestle as Paul White, or he can go back to the Giant.
Well, I don't know. It's like he's another one like John Cena. Like, what do you do with him? He's faced everybody. You know what I mean? It's like he's done it all. I mean, what do you do at that point?
Except for make John Cena heel. That's literally the only thing left to do.
He's their Hulk Hogan. You know what I mean? He's the replacement for Hogan. He's the modern day Hulk Hogan. Bright colors, all that. That's all intentional.
And Hogan would heel, and he did perfectly fine.
Man, that yellow shirt though just got me hyped. I don't know why. I saw that John Cena shirt. I'm like, oh, bright colors, but something worked. I don't know what. It triggered this Hogan vibe in me. You know, but we'll see.
They can do it. They're too scared because Hogan had the same issue, and he was perfectly fine.
Man, now the question is, we don't know. Nobody seems to know, but I wonder if Hulk Hogan's going to show up at Mania.
Well, Hulk Hogan's been doing the thing with Ric Flair, like, baby, please take me back.
Yeah. But how do you bring him back? And this is my idea. I don't know if you guys agree. If if they were to bring him back, how should they do it? And I'm thinking they do it where he helps somebody who needs help, big, like New Day type of thing. You know, maybe New Day. Yeah, maybe he jumps in with New Day. I mean, it might sound cheesy and all, but you know, that's something like that. Or even if they go in a different route and he helps Ronda Rousey with something. Maybe something's happening with Ronda Rousey and she's getting attacked or doing something, and he runs down and he's like, I got you, sister. You know, and he's like, oh, you know, it's something like that.
Considering what got Hogan in trouble in the first place, it would be very obvious if he helped out New Day. Like, okay.
It points out.
Yeah.
But, you know, but it's one of those things.
I'm sorry, Negroes.
But that's what. But hey, isn't that what Booker T said? Booker T said that when he was asked about this, he said he can come back. He just needs to apologize to everybody and the WWE universe. But that's bringing more attention to it. And you know, WWE isn't going to want to do that. They're going to try to be subtle about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's the only subtle way. I mean, yeah, we know, but it's going to be like that little, you know. No, not to you guys. You see, look what he's doing, helping out the blacks. You know, they're gonna do something cheesy like that. You know, but what else can you do? Because they're not gonna have him come out in Hogan persona and draw attention to that, because people that don't know are gonna be like, oh damn, they're gonna get on the computer. What the hell did he do? And they're gonna see it, and that's not what they want.
It's a workout. Okay, so he apologizes backstage, right? And we don't see that. So it's like, for them, he apologizes. He comes out, and then like have New Day or have the Usos like snap on him.
No, that draws attention. If they start snapping, it's gonna bring it up. They're gonna. Remember, WWE don't like talking about stuff that they can't control. You know, and especially negative shit like this.
I mean, they freaking changed Apollo Crews' name because the name sounds too much like the Shooter.
Yeah,
or something.
I mean, if they're willing to jump the gun that quick, you know, damn, no gun. Sorry about the reference with the gun. Damn shit. Mm-hmm. No, but you know, they shouldn't do. Yeah, they're not going to do it. They're not going to bring it up. Not going to bring it up.
Not all is lost. They can do something.
I mean, I think it would be good for the business just to bring them back.
You can join Titus Worldwide.
There you go.
No,
there you go. There you go. You know what? You know,
that would be great.
No, that would be perfect, and that would be something. If let's say Titus says, "I got a new signing, a big name signing," you know, and then all of a sudden he comes up, damn, everybody would pop. I think it would work. Because he could easily say a weird fake backstory. I've known this man for years. He's been a friend. He's been a confidant, and he has known him for years. You know, so people would be like, well, yeah, he does know him. I mean, well, I guess it sort of makes sense. I mean, I guess he doesn't hate all the blacks. Maybe it was just that one. I mean, you know, then it was like, oh, I'll let it go.
There's one very big reason why that won't happen. And that is because they have no plan for Titus Worldwide whatsoever, as was proven at the pay-per-view. So these guys, they have no plan for these guys. They're just going to be jobbing for the rest of until they break up the team.
Until they get Hulk Hogan.
It's the new Job Squad. If you remember the Job Squad in the Attitude Era, they were just all guys that were jobbing. And
that was,
you know, Titus O'Neil, they do nothing with him. When they call up Apollo, they did nothing with him. Dana Brooke, they call her up, they did nothing with her. She's not doing anything right now. Well, let's put her some glasses, and she's the mathematician or something. She doesn't do shit other than hold a clipboard.
It's like 3-man band. Remember when those guys? You knew they were gonna lose every time they came out. You knew they were gonna lose. You know, they were just there to job to everybody else.
I figured with 3MB that it was just a thing of like, well, here's 3 guys who are good friends on the road and just want to work together. So let's give them a gimmick and roll with it. And that's what happened.
Oh, and then they did that again. Remember the Mr. Raj guys. Remember they had with Alex Rose. Was it Adam Rose? Remember? And they did that where they tried to do their own little thing and they came up with a name. I forgot what the name was.
Oh yeah, oh my God, what were they called?
Shit. Because then they started doing the same shit and they were jobbing to everybody.
It was the Social Outcasts.
That's it, Social Outcasts.
It was the Social Outcasts, and it just turned out that Adam Rose was the one outcast because, you know, he was future endeavored. But then you get what was it? Chris Axel and Bo Dallas end up having a group anyway, but with the Miz. You know, Miz wasn't part of that Social Outcast thing, but who was it? That was Rose, Axel, Slater.
What's his name? Slater. He was in that. That's it, because it was 4 people. It was 4 of them. You know.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, I was just thinking about it, like even from last episode, we're talking about all these wrestlers who could be in this and who can be in that, and even with Rumble, one name that nobody's talking about and no one gives a shit, and is Ryback. No one ever talks about this dude. No one cares. It's like he disappeared and everybody was cool with it. You know what I mean?
Doing interviews about how he, you know, discovered everyone and created everyone's wrestling moves.
Oh,
he has a huge ego for someone who just wasn't that interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I think he's going to Japan. I heard something that he was signing some kind of deal in Japan. He's got an energy drink or a protein drink or some shit.
Steroid drink. That's what you meant to say.
Feed me more.
Whatever works. No, but that was just funny because I'm thinking about all these names. We're talking about all these people that are growing stuff. Like no one ever talks about them. It's like usually when someone leaves, you know, we're hearing about, oh, he's doing this and that, and then they're like, hey, when are you going back? No one's saying that to Ryback. No one cares. It was like,
no one's asking for him to come back.
Nobody's asking.
He's wrestling overseas in a country that I didn't know existed, nor can I pronounce.
There you go, and that's okay. You know, because nobody misses him in this country. So that's right. You know.
Yeah, that's right.
Like they say 4 blocks down, do you, and that's it. And enjoy your life wherever you are. See what happens.
All right, so
real quick with that though, with Bo Dallas, he's the only one, even with Axel, he doesn't need that. He's got a gimmick waiting for him. Just join up with his brother. I don't see the issue.
You bring it up every WrestleCast.
I have to.
You're kind of will it to existence. I don't know if it's going to happen. I think they need to bring in their actual sister, the one that looks like a clone of Bo Dallas. Bring her into the company.
Wrestle?
I don't know if she wrestles.
I don't think anyone else wrestles besides the 2 boys.
No, I think they all wrestle.
I don't know. We
Make
could
her
assume.
be Sister Abigail.
You know, but I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like he's set in stone. It's like, here it is. You got a brother who's over and had a group and the whole thing, and then you're over here doing a backup shit anyway. Do the backup shit for your brother, and that'll mean more because people like your brother. So it'll just, right now he's just a goon. It doesn't make sense. You could be the goon for your brother, and it'll make more sense because of the whole Wyatt family thing. You know, they still haven't even addressed it on camera that they really are brothers. I mean, people know it that follow it, but they never officially said, "Oh, by the way, Bo Dallas is Bray Wyatt's brother." You know, but that's an instant gimmick. Like I remember when they put in, what's his name, Daniel Bryan in the Wyatt family. I'm like, really? Even before Bo Dallas, this is happening? You know, but because they look like they were just recruiting people. You know, I'm like, your brother needs it more than anybody.
Well, I'll make a quick comment on that. I'm pretty sure that Daniel Bryan also remembers that moment, because I recall that match he had with Bray Wyatt at the Royal Rumble afterwards, and that was when Bray Wyatt fucked him up. When he did that move on him outside the ring onto the barricade, that I know he definitely had some kind of concussion after that.
That was the beginning of the end for him. Yeah.
He definitely had something after that.
He took some bad hits. I mean, I don't know if it's just him just doing a great job selling it, but almost everything looked devastating. So like with Rey Mysterio, right? When Rey Mysterio takes these big bumps, you're like, oh, he's broken. He's dead. Do you remember that time when he was strapped to the gurney, the table, what you call it, the neck brace table? And was it Big Show or something who picked the whole shit up and swung it at the post?
You're talking about Batista.
It was Batista that did that. Yeah, remember that? He strapped it. He picked up.
Oh, that's awesome.
Thing, and he just swung it, and he was still strapped. Can you imagine being strapped to a table and then get swung and then falling on your face and not being able to protect yourself because your arms are strapped down? I'm like, yo, I hope he got a bonus for that, because that was devastating to watch.
Yeah, it was. Absolutely.
Flashbacks. Damn.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, so Dana, thank you for all of the news stories to recap. So obviously, a couple of topics to get into tonight. First and foremost, Elimination Chamber. I mean, we've all saw it, so I know I definitely want to get you guys' thoughts on what you liked and didn't like about the show. And Dana, how about you start us off, because I believe you told me that you very much enjoyed the main event, so feel free to let us know what did you think of it.
I've ever watched. The greatest 4 hours of sleep. Basically, I thought that the show started off pretty boring. I mean, you had the Luke Gallows and the Carl Anderson and the Miz Taraj. It was standard, nothing special, pretty boring. The Women's Elimination Chamber match, I will say that I'm very happy to see Mickey James, Grandma Mickey, do her little dive off of the top of the chamber. That was cute. I thought she would last a little bit longer, but you know what? She did good. She stayed longer than what I thought. And at the same time, she wrestled really well, and she had her, she did her conditioning, so her breathing was great. She didn't look tired. None of the women looked tired, so that was a good thing. Sasha Banks ramming her own head into the side of the Elimination Chamber part so that, she would fall down. That was odd. Alexa Bliss winning. Good for her. Absolution, I gave no flying farts about at all. That whole Bailey and Bailey and Sasha thing when she kicked her in the face. I mean, it's cute, but we all saw it coming, and it really didn't do anything. There was no memento. There was nothing behind it. It was like, okay, I mean, it's an elimination thing, so I didn't really care. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, she hates her and it's going to be a heel turn. Nothing. It was just, it was what it was. I liked Bliss winning though. Let's see. The Titus Worldwide and the Bar, standard, boring. Asuka versus Nia. I actually like that, and they built both of the women up. Nia looked very strong, and Asuka looked really strong for defeating her. The best part was when Asuka got out and was after the match, and she was right by the barricade and just got murdered by Nia. That was the best part. But I liked the whole match overall. I thought it was basic, but sometimes basic could be good. Storytelling was great. Them wrestling together was great. They seemed to have decent chemistry. So I liked it. Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt. Okay, like it's nice. We all know we're gonna get WrestleMania, and we're all gonna get the broken, woken match. Maybe with they could bring back the Wyatts. That would be nice. But that was decent. Ronda Rousey, she went and was there. I expected her to be like, you know, some big event where she was gonna like actually wrestle or fight someone, but it was pretty standard. Her mic work is horrible. Her whole thing was just horrible. She's terribly booked. I again give no farts about her at all, but I watched. I stayed up for her, and you know that was about it. The men's elimination chamber, that was so bad. That was just so bad, and like they gave a good fight. They really did, but of course we already know the ending where Braun just takes out everyone except for Roman Reigns, and it wasn't even my thing. Was this? Fine, you want to build him up and make him look really strong, have him try to take out Roman Reigns. That whole thing at the end when he went through the pod and it broke, they could have easily did that in the match. And then Roman could have still fought through it and beat Braun. I would have been perfectly fine with that. But the fact that he had him railroad everyone else and then not even seem to touch Roman at all, it was so stupid. So I didn't like that at all. So overall, it was meh.
I agree. So I'm gonna share my thoughts real quick, and then I'll let Ricky speak because I'm sure he got some stuff to say. Yeah, the women's match was okay. I think Alexa Bliss's promo after the match, that was fantastic.
That got me. I was sucking in that. I was like, oh, she got me. Because at first it happened so quick with her, crying. That's why I thought it was legit. Because I'm like, she's breaking character right now because it's just maybe it is an impactful moment. I mean, whatever. I mean, it was her first big win, in that match type. But she really got me. She got everybody with that because I don't think anybody saw that turn.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, I thought I would said the same thing. Yeah, definitely breaking character. But then I see, oh yeah, okay, that was great. That was great. This is exactly why she is champion, at least for now. We'll see if that will change at WrestleMania.
You know what would have been funny, just to add to that, because remember what's the name? Sasha was still on the side crying. If she would have said, like when she gave that speech about, for women everywhere, Sasha, come over here, Sasha, and then she gives her a hug and then she gives her some kicking moves. It's all about me, dumb bitch. It's like that would have been funny.
Well, that would have been funny.
That'd been great.
Oh, yeah. So that was great. The Bar and Titus Worldwide, that's a thumbs down. And as we saw on Raw the next night, they lost again. So this is why I say Titus Worldwide, the guys are not getting no. I don't get
it. I just don't get it. You're giving them all this time. I mean, that's the thing. They're getting TV time. This is valuable TV time. You would think they're doing something. I mean, Apollo Crews is looking good. They're making him look good. In these matches. He's just not winning any of them.
It's very simple. Black History Month.
Well, it's over now. It's over now. Now it's. I didn't know March was Women Appreciation Month. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
I did not know that. I did not.
Well,
know
you're
that.
a man.
Oh, my bad. Shit.
Yeah. So hey, Women's Appreciation Month. Hey, there's a lot of things to look forward to this month for women. So. Yeah, including Jessica Jones season 2. But if you watch them first 5 episodes, you might be disappointed. But that's another show.
Oh man, I fell asleep halfway through season 1. I'm like, yo, they started off strong, and then it's just like, whatever.
Oh, I love the first
Watch
season.
7 seconds. 7 seconds on Netflix.
Oh, yeah, I definitely got to see that because I've been seeing advertisements for it. So we'll check that out. Yeah, as for the other matches, Oscar Nia Jax, yeah, that was a good match, and I agree with Dana. I love that ending. with Nia Jax throwing Asuka through the barricade. That was great. Woken Matt Hardy. Yeah, Woken.
Told you. That was fun.
Yeah, you're right.
Fun.
So now I will say I'm still not a fan of how they have used the character so far. I'm going to give them until WrestleMania to see what they do to further this storyline and whether or not there is a gimmick match that they actually have, because I even though they have all the rights, I still haven't seen them push this to the limit. So I would hope that happens at WrestleMania.
It has to be Mania. It has to be, because look, now it's split. It's 50-50, 1-1. Each one is 1-1, right? It has to all come down to WrestleMania. And we know, well, we don't know, but we know that Jeff Hardy went in for his physical or whatever to find out if he's good to go.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that's another month that he has now just to recoup. And he doesn't have to do much. Doesn't have to do much, because I mean, if they do the compound type of thing, you know, it could be taped his part, whatever. But man, they got to do something big, and Matt knows how to do those type of matches. So, especially with the filming and all that. So hopefully it works out, and that's what they do, which I think they will do.
Hopefully so. Yeah, I hope so. And of course, lastly, pretty much everything that Dana said about the men's match, I agree 100% with. I did not like the fact that you had Braun doing all the work, and then you had Reigns win. And especially when there were instances in the match where, like, take, for example, Finn Balor did his finisher on Roman Reigns, and then all of a sudden Braun Strowman comes in and just does the finisher on Finn Balor when you see Reigns is down. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, that all of that pretty much confirms, that they wanted, you know, Roman Reigns to win. And the reaction that I have heard from the fans after Reigns won, a lot of people angry, disappointed. I mean, it was predictable. We already knew Reigns was going to win, but the reaction was, you could tell. In my opinion, Braun Strowman is over, and you see that the guy is over, but you say, no, we're not going to go that direction. Reigns still has to win. So they have, you know, Vince wants to see this storyline end with Brock and Reigns, so he will get his wish. But everybody will not be looking forward to that match.
But I'm not even mad at the fact of the match. My thing is the fact that he won. My thing is just how it went down. Yeah. You can book someone and still make them strong. Again, Asuka and Nia, very strong, both of them. And, you know, they booked that really well.
Well, hey, they it's funny you mentioned that, because that is exactly the same finish that they had for this match, where after Reigns wins, the Braun beats him down again. So I guess they figured, oh, well, we have achieved the goal of making everybody look strong. Except for whoever got eliminated first, which I think was The Miz. Yeah, he got eliminated first. So,
but then who had the least impact, and that's Elias. I mean, he is their Santino right now. Think about it. He comes out with his little gimmick with the guitar and all that stuff, and then he gets squashed. He was the last man to enter in that chamber match, and he got squashed. Yeah. So it's like, what's the point? What are you doing with this guy? You know, is he just comic relief? Is he always going to stay in that spot? I mean,
well, man, hey, you know what? That's a good question. Well, I guess, he does have a chance now, I guess, of the IC title if that 5-way match goes down.
He's not going to win that.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll see what happens. But overall, very, very predictable pay-per-view for the most part. But I don't know. So Ricky, what are your thoughts on the pay-per-view? What did you like and didn't you like?
Okay, well, I'm gonna need to break this down match by match, because I have very opinionated on this thing here. Let me go through here. Pre-show, Bullet Club beating Miztourage. Okay, we all saw that coming. Whatever, that happened. Women's Elimination Chamber match, I thought was the best Elimination Chamber match of the night. You know, the women actually used the Elimination Chamber. I didn't feel like that wasn't really incorporated much in the men's match. You know, you had the whole, I mean, no one, again, like I said, no one really gave a crap about what do they call themselves again? Absolution. Yeah, it's whatever. Yeah, Mickey James with that spot was great. Sasha Banks and Bayley, that spot was great. Alexa Bliss doing her jump from the top of that pod, that was pretty cool. And then
that was crazy though, because I mean, from the angle, she has to do that perfect, or else her legs hit the ropes.
Yeah,
and that can mess up real quick.
It was a very dangerous spot, and there's a lot of height on that. So like, I was impressed by that, and and obviously a vicious DDT to end it. Alexa Bliss, say what you want about her. She has like one of the best DDTs, I think, in the whole roster. But her promo at the end, I remember thinking like, oh no, don't tell me they're gonna do like a double turn right now where they're gonna have Alexa turn face and Sasha turn heel. But then Alexa spun it around. I was like, there we go. That's the Alexa that's the Alexa that we know and love there. So I was satisfied with that. See the tag match, title match. I honestly didn't care. I barely paid attention to it because I knew that Titus Worldwide had no shot, and the Bar was going to retain. And then I don't even know what's next for them. That's something that we can get into when we talk about Raw. But Asuka defeating Nia Jax, that was maybe the one thing that surprised me, and it shouldn't have surprised me, only because I thought this whole stipulation of if Nia Jax wins, she's going to be the third person in this title match, felt like that they were pretty much telegraphing it to us. But thankfully, that was not the case. I didn't want Asuka to have to drop her undefeated streak, something like that. And then obviously, Nia Jax attacking Asuka afterwards makes me wonder, like, okay, like, is she still gonna be in that match somehow? Like, if so, then this in that WrestleMania match, and that's so, then this match was a waste of time. Just the way I see it. But let's see, Matt Hardy, Bray Wyatt. I want to say that I love that Matt Hardy has the Woken gimmick, going on. I love that, but he has to delete this feud with Bray Wyatt. I'm sorry, man. I'm not feeling it. I know that they're probably going to have a final deletion at WrestleMania. They'll call it the ultimate deletion or something like that. But I'm not sold on it.
Can I make a quick comment real quick?
Absolutely.
If Matt Hardy doesn't delete the feud, I have to say this, then I'm sure Bray Wyatt's ex-wife will make sure that he gets deleted from this feud. So go ahead. I wanted to throw that in there.
Oh man. Bray the player. And then the most predictable of all predictable outcomes was the winner of the men's Elimination Chamber match. I gotta say that I was very disappointed. I understood that Reigns was going to win, that this was destiny, that they were going to have Reigns and Lesnar. They telegraphed it since last year. Knew it was going to happen, but like you said, I think it's the way they went about it really sucked. To me, it was that Elias, Balor, Cena, and Rollins and Miz, they were all filler in this match. They were all fed to Braun, who was then fed to Roman Reigns. And I thought that was a load of horse shit. What the fuck are you doing, Vince? Stop doing that. Stop it. You've been doing it for 4 years. Cut it out. You have a guy that's red hot in Braun Strowman. He's the guy that the fans have that seem to like organically. He's the guy that after this match, I want to see face Brock Lesnar, even though I hated their last match against each other and the match before that. But Braun Strowman's a freaking beast. He's the guy that should be out there, not Roman Reigns.
But that's not the plan. That's the thing. Vince doesn't like organic creations. He didn't like it with any of the other previous guys, especially Daniel Bryan. He just doesn't like it. If he doesn't create it, doesn't want it.
That's the thing. That's just the thing, is that it's Vince's creation. He wants to be the one that's right. he knows best, and he's going to force feed everyone whether they like it or not. And that's the thing. It's just that, like, it would just be so much better if they just, like if he talked about how WWE listens to its fans. Well, it'd be great if they actually meant that. It'd be great if just let things play out and go with how the fans want it. And once it gets stale, you go on to the next thing, but give it a shot. The thing with Strowman is that, they've built him up to be this really awesome, monster of a guy, but they cut him off at the knees whenever he gets anywhere close to like a title shot or something. It's just, I don't know what the hell they're doing to him, but I should probably address the other guys in the match because they shouldn't be just filler. Finn Balor should not just be filler. He's a guy. He was the first Universal Champion. I felt that he deserves a shot at the belt maybe sometime after WrestleMania. Hopefully that will happen, but we'll see.
You know what? I was just because you just brought it with the Finn, I was thinking about like, what if he didn't get hurt, and if he still had the belt? And I think it actually helped him that he did get hurt, because if not, he was going to get squashed by Brock. They were going to do it. They were going to pull like what they did with Cena. Remember where he got that's the creation of Suplex City, And I feel like they were going to do something like that anyway.
I don't know. I feel like, and I don't know if you remember that. There was I forget what came about it, but there was like I remember the first match that Balor had against Roman Reigns on Raw, he beat him, and Roman Reigns was just kind of like, oh, he was the better man today. I'll get him next time, that kind of thing. I felt like he would have lost eventually to Reigns before WrestleMania. I don't think there was any way that Balor was going to go into WrestleMania as Universal Champion that year. It seems to me, at least as far as like Vince McMahon, is that he's willing to take more risks after WrestleMania, around SummerSlam, around Survivor Series. But once you get to January, once you get to Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, now it's like, okay, let's get Cena involved. Let's get The Undertaker, Triple H, Batista, all these guys that I know, all these old familiar names, let's get them involved because I don't trust all these millennials, this newer generation. That's what ends up happening.
Big stars. That's what he does. That's what it's expected. We expect all the big names. That's why a lot of people are so shocked. They just can't get over the fact that no Undertaker. People just can't do it. They expect all the big names to be there.
Yeah, it's it pretty much just like CM Punk said a while back about bringing in the part-timers to take the spot of people that they should be building up. So, yeah, that's the perfect explanation of that.
Yeah. The one person that's guaranteed not to be involved is The Rock, and that's only because of the contract he has with Disney or one of those studios. But he's not allowed to. They don't want him wrestling at all. They don't want to take any chances. Yeah, they don't want any chances. That's the reason why he didn't show up to any of these events.
I didn't know that.
He can't get physical. He can only talk, but he can't get physical.
Now, to close this out, I was going to say that part of this is because I'm a Shield mark, but I really feel that a more compelling finish would have been to have Reigns and Rollins together eliminate Strowman. Figured that together they got to do it, and then have them go one-on-one. Close out that match, and yeah, you can go ahead and have have Reigns win it, and then kind of plant the seed for a little descent later on there, because you already had Reigns eliminate Rollins at the Rumble, and then you had Rollins beat Reigns in that gauntlet match. So you just have a little back and forth and plant the seeds for later on, but they never did that. So it's just my overall, I'll say about Elimination Chamber was that it was predictable, but I found it still to be, a bit entertaining altogether. So I'll give it that. So that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, very, very, very good thoughts. I definitely.
Also, I was slightly shocked that the crowd was dead the whole pay-per-view.
Oh, well, I guess, you know, they were a little worn out from the Elimination Chamber matches.
From the first match.
Well, say what?
They were never alive, not even during the first match. They were just dead.
Damn.
I was like, why are you even here?
Well, they knew what they were getting into. I mean, you know what kind of match it is.
I mean, well, here's a question: Did WWE alter the audio when Reigns lost or when he came out? Because I heard some people booing, then I heard nothing but cheers. I was like, oh, okay, maybe they did a mix there.
Maybe.
There you go. Yeah.
So, I don't know. Okay, Adam. What did you like and didn't like about Elimination Chamber?
Man, I don't. The whole thing needs to go. The chamber itself doesn't do anything for me. I mean, the whole point of it was that it was brutal. Remember, it was painful. It hurts when they get slammed outside on the hard steel. It's all padded now. You got little Bliss doing crazy flips onto the damn shit. You know, so that must be super thick padding on the side. That's not just some thin little, you know, judo mat or anything. They went all out. It just isn't. It's wrestling. It was fun to watch. You know, I accept it for what it was. You know, I enjoyed the women's match. The bar was filler. Everybody, I feel like now they put these filler matches so people can go get hot dogs and bathroom breaks and stuff. That's why they put it there. They know no one really cares, but that gives them their time because back in the day they used to actually do intermissions. And you saw a countdown clock. You know, so maybe that's what that whole thing's about. But the main event, it was what it was. You know, we all expected Roman to win. We just didn't know how he was going to win, and that was one way to do it. You know, I thought that when everybody got on top of Braun, remember when we did that whole thing? I was like, okay, everybody's doing their finisher on him. I was like, this is it. That makes sense. Everybody's doing their finisher, and they're going to take him out that way. But it didn't happen, and it just kept going. You know, we didn't talk about the signing. You know, that was pretty cool. You know, that whole thing going on there. So I don't like what they're doing with Kurt Angle. You know, that was dumb. They're making him look real weak. Doesn't seem fitting for his character, and it really doesn't add anything if you're gonna say, oh well, we're doing this so that way we can set it up as a tag match. Well, no one cares. I mean, you're making it seem like it's not much of a challenge. He just said he needs that job. That's his boss. You know, and so what is he going to do? He's probably going to hold back.
He looks and sounds like an old man. It's almost like
he looks and sounds like an old man. It just doesn't. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I don't care to see that match in that way. You know, somebody else they could have thrown in, but right now it doesn't. That's not the Kurt Angle we wanted to see versus Triple H. You know, when Kurt Angle came back, we're like, oh, this is cool, and he's going to be the old Kurt Angle and with the attitude and all that shit. No. You know, we got this squirmy guy who just bitching about how he needs his job and stuff. It's like, oh.
Well, you know what that is. It's because the McMahons always have to put themselves above everybody else. So I don't like what they did with Foley, and I don't like what they're doing with Angle now. So this is obviously, you know, if The Rock was able to wrestle, and that would have made sense from a storyline standpoint, since they already introduced that, but he can't. So. It's a backup plan.
Well, that's the thing. Damn, I don't know. I mean, it's too late now, I think, for them to swap it out. You know, they've invested too much, especially with what happened on Raw. And I think I'm probably jumping on Raw is definitely when he said he needs his job and all that stuff. You know, so.
It's a shame. I remember when, was it Raw after WrestleMania last year? When Angle was brought in, you know, Angle, like, he wasn't taking anyone's shit. He was like, you know, I'm the GM now, and you know, he was scheduling matches, but he was also doing it very assertively. And now you're seeing him being really meager, and it's just like, well, wait a minute, like, come on, man, you don't remember that, like, you know, Triple H made you look like a bitch at Survivor Series, you know? So that Triple H could look good in the end and all that. I figured they were building up towards this thing, but I guess the closest thing to Kurt Angle stepping up to Triple H is being a snitch on the mic. Like, well, didn't you say this backstage about Ronda that you could, like, you know, like,
Yeah, that didn't fit. That doesn't make sense either. And then like, oh, he's in the hospital. He was sick. He's got some. Again, it's like, what hospital? What? It was bad. It's really bad. The whole thing was bad. So I don't know what's gonna happen, but they they're putting her in a match at Mania because she's a big name, and so that's why it's funny because they're like, oh, she wants to be treated just like everybody else, and it's like, well, if it's treated like everybody else, you're not gonna be at Mania, and but that's not what they're gonna do, and I hope they don't rush it because I mean, yeah, she's a great fighter, real fighter, but it's a transition to switch over to what happens in the ring in WWE and how that whole works. Pro wrestling, sports entertainment.
Being the Raw GM is a curse because Kurt Angle, he brought back, and he is the father of Jason Jordan all of a sudden, and he has that. He's a temporary member of the Shield, and now he's going to be in this match with Ronda Rousey. I don't know what they're doing with him. They don't think they know what they're doing with him.
Well, they don't know what they're doing with him.
I want to make another quick comment too. That whole line about Ronda. Well, yeah, you're not going to feel like you're going to earn your opportunity, so on and so forth. We're not going to treat you special. But they already messed that up because earlier in the pay-per-view, we saw she had her own dressing room. When they showed her name on the dressing room, I'm like, okay, well, yeah. So it's all already messed up that storyline.
The whole thing is messed up. I mean, they should treat her special. She should come in. They should say we're treat her special, and she should be dominant. She could just be like Brock. And I know, Danny, you're like, oh, she's not good on the mic. You gotta listen to her when she gets ready. When she starts flowing, because I've heard her before, especially during the UFC and when they had the Ultimate Fighter, which was their show, and she was in charge of one of the houses. She can shoot a promo. She knows what she's doing, and I'm like, damn, if she could bring this to WWE, it's gonna be great. But she has to get comfortable. It's one thing to do it on TV like that, a small setting. It's another thing when you're in a full arena, 14, 15,000 people staring at you, and you're trying to shoot this promo. That takes a lot of nerve, and it's gonna take time for her to get comfortable. But when she does, it's going to come off great because she already has that facial expression. That face, it's a stern look that she gives. So I think it's going to work out great for her. We just got to hope that the wrestling and all that, the transition works. I mean, Shayna picked it up. Look at Shayna. Shayna is on her way to being a Hall of Famer. Think about that. For women, she is on her way. She's got the look. She's Diesel. She can work. She's already decent on the mic and shooting. She plays off a heel perfectly, right? We all admit she's a great heel. It's believable. You know what I mean? It all works. And she wants it. She wants to do this. And that comes off in her product and her work. So if she can do it, Ronda's definitely going to do it.
Well, hold on a second. Well, hold on a second. Just one comment real quick, and then you can go, Dana. I agree she can do it, but there's a difference. This is NXT, and this is the main roster where they control everything. So if they trust her over time, maybe they will allow her to do some stuff, but it all depends on that because they try to control everything.
She has everybody working with her at that performance center. It's like every time I hear about when they think, oh, this is that, someone's doing this, and they're showing pictures. I mean, I feel like everyone under the sun is taking turns helping her out. Shawn Michaels to, regular dudes in the back, everybody, you name it. Hell, even Norman Smiley. I'm like, everybody is chipping in on putting the total package. They are really putting in time, and they want her to succeed and not just be an attraction of who she is, because that's only going to last so long.
Yeah.
So she needs to actually perform. And that was the whole thing with Ken Shamrock. It's like, oh, well, we know as bad as man, is it going to work? And it worked out great for Ken Shamrock. People loved him. I mean, he was working the ring. Shit, when I think ankle lock, I don't think of Kurt Angle. I think of Ken Shamrock. Remember that facial expression? That his eyes would bulge out, and he's like, oh, every vein in his arm was like popping out. I was like, yo, he is snapping this guy's leg. That's it. Oh, it was awesome. It's gonna work. It's gonna work. Give it a year. We're gonna only say, damn, she's the next big thing. She is their main star. But she needs time. And I think she'll get it.
No.
With all the training that she's getting backstage, and with all everybody supporting her, the sky's the limit.
No.
Don't say no. You see, watch. Next year, you say that, and then next year you're gonna have 2 T-shirts and a Funko Pop. You're gonna be all about her.
No. Here's the thing. Here's my problem. All right, you want Ronda? No problem. Don't put her on TV for a full year. Let her get her training in.
Are you kidding me? Bomb. That's a waste of money right there. What do you mean no TV? What is wrong with you? You smoking the crack rock? You got Ronda Rousey. Think about it. Just the name alone. Just the name alone.
Give me a match that's already 3 years too late. Okay? She's booked terribly. She still can't speak on the mic. I don't know what that little gesture is she's trying to do. She looks like the angry Miz kid grown up. So, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I feel nothing. That whole thing when they did the signing at Elimination Chamber, that sounded like something a 4-year-old wrote. With Kurt Angle in the stomach.
Keeping it simple. She's still new.
I don't know how new you can be. She literally can say nothing and I'm good. But no, they made her talk. And she's stumbling and bumbling all over her words and then still pointing at a sign. No, I don't like that. I don't like what they did with Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle, they turned into a 3-year-old who's discovered alcohol or something for the first time. And he's all like, and I'm going to tell this now. And now we got her. Yay. I don't understand what they're doing with him. I don't care about Ronda Rousey. I don't care about Triple H. I don't care about Stephanie. Why is Stephanie still wrestling? I don't understand the logic.
But you care about Shane. Why is Shane still wrestling?
Here's the thing. Here's what I cared about. Now, do I care about him now? No, but it was a nostalgia thing. And it was something about Shane that was very charismatic. Stephanie could never wrestle. All she did was scream and yell like her father, which she still does today. So therefore, that's where all my nostalgia is her coming in and saying, you're fired. And that's it. That's all I need her to do. I don't need her to wrestle. I don't understand why she's wrestling. I don't understand why Triple H is wrestling. Go do something with Jeff Jarrett and let him write something. I don't know. But why?
Wouldn't Jeff Jarrett?
I totally forgot about Jarrett. Oh my God.
Oh, don't worry. Dana will remind you. She loves the man.
Jeff Jarrett. So do something. The thing with Ronda is she should have been training a year before she made her appearance. I'm good with that. They should have built her up. Even if they brought her to Raw because they need the ratings because everything is in a toilet right now, that's fine. She doesn't have to go to NXT. You have an entire team of people helping you. Just because you have an entire team helping you does not mean that you, the actual person, can succeed. It just means that, you have a bunch of people helping you, and even then you still feel like failure. I don't know how long she's been training this thing, but her even coming down for the first time and her mumbling over her words and stumbling over everything and being all nervous, you can't even say she's not new to crowds because she's
Kurt Angle still stumbles. Kurt Angle got the wrong WrestleMania brought up.
Angle had concussions and probably CTE. Let that man live.
Oh, boy. Oh, see,
okay.
I see a lot of favoritism over here from Dana.
No,
Jeff Jarrett and Kurt Angle.
Ronda's mind is perfectly fine. She takes out people in 13 seconds. There's no need for her to even get a CTE. She's perfectly fine.
Like that, you probably have trouble, keeping a straight face and character and remembering lines. That's all new.
That may still be new, but she's been in movies, so you can't even say that.
Movies are filmed. You know what I mean? It's like take 2, take 3. All right, you ready? Yeah. Take 15. You weren't ready last 14. Take, you can't do that. Live is live.
Look, you stole the name of someone who's an amazing, great wrestler, and
she did not steal anything. He let her do it. He gave it to her. He liked her. Remember,
the name of an amazing wrestler, and you tarnished the whole thing with stealing and mumbling. At least live up to the name of what you was given. There's nothing wrong.
She will. That's what I'm saying. You haven't seen it yet. She got that name and she lived up to it in UFC, and a lot of people hated her because she was doing WWE style shoe promos on her opponents. Remember, she was like, "I'm gonna snap your arm. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that," and she did it. So
look, no, you can't even look. I've been watching wrestling since I was 3. My username is based off of Jeff Hardy's name back when he was 16 or 17. Does not make me a great wrestler. Does not mean I'm good on the mic. Just because I've admired something and I love something.
But that's what I'm saying. It comes over time. I don't expect her to do it right overnight when it comes to her mic work. It's going to take time.
How much time does she need?
How much time? She just showed up. Oh, my Lord. You are cracking the whip on the back of the girl's neck. She just showed up. She's been on, what, 3 episodes?
No, she's been training for a long time. And plus, UFC and WWE has similarities. You have to be theatrical. You have to have some type of personality. Her running around and running her mouth and talking about people who committed suicide. Now, all of a sudden, she's clamming up when it comes to memorizing the script. I just don't get it.
That's one thing to say everything that's off the top of your head. When there's a script, you have to try to make that believable, and you have to spread it out in front of a live audience. Again, that's different than acting. The groundwork. If she came from Broadway, then yeah, I would stick by you. I'm like, yo, she should be familiar with being on stage in front of a large crowd and spitting out lines, but she's not.
So I
theatrical performance. I see the similarities, and even if you just say, okay, she's new, the way they book her is just disrespectful. You have the woman who's supposed to be the baddest woman ever. She's basically a female Brock Lesnar. And then you have Stephanie McMahon come in and start yelling and screaming at her. And
that's not her fault. That's just the booking. That's them trying to make Stephanie look strong.
It's a combination of everything. It's a part of Rhonda's still green and the booking is crappy. And overall, I give 0 farts about this match and her existence.
So let me make a quick comment. I have to agree with a lot of what Dana had to say.
Boom.
And let me add that in addition, I know Rhonda still needs work. That's fine. But listen, they need to get rid of that horrible theme song because I heard that song multiple times. I'm like, why is this the theme that they gave her?
No. I can't help you there. I don't have all the answers. So I don't know. I don't know what's up. And that's a known song, so I'm sure they paid good money for that shit. So.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's a classic.
Well, so I guess we'll see what happens. No. So any other thoughts? But before we move on to Raw,
book her better.
Gonna take time. Let things grow. A lot of people, I'll tell you this one. A lot of people complained about The Undertaker when he came out. They're like, who's this dead man? Oh, Ted DiBiase, this is going to be cheesy. People love him. She's like, hey, I'm here, I'm gonna
It's a great video, you guys should see it.
Hey, yeah, that will be her finisher at WrestleMania, pointing.
She's gonna, you could end the match like that. Point somebody severely in the eye, you poke them. Oh my Lord, it's over.
Yeah, that's great.
That's it. Mess up the cornea and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see what happens. But I will say that I fully understand being impatient about this stuff because again, like I said already, the Matt Hardy stuff. I mean, I'm glad that the woken, whatever the hell you want to call it. I'm glad that universe is there, but I haven't seen the full universe yet, so I have to reserve judgment until WrestleMania.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's the other thing too. It's like if you know about the product, you know what he did before, then yeah, you're like, all right, I want to see this. So I can't wait till this happens.
Yeah,
But think about the entire universe. There's a large majority of people that don't know any of this shit.
Mm-hmm.
All of this is new. They're like, what is going on with Matt Hardy? What is it? So it's baby steps on that. It's as if, he went to a new show. It's not like the indies where one character moves on to another one and they automatically assume you know everything about them.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work that way. And what he's doing is complicated for people that don't know and they're just tuning in. Like, all right, so he is Matt Hardy. Yeah, but he's woken. Woken from what? Well, he's crazy. What do you mean crazy? You know what I mean? It's like a lot of questions. You know what I mean? It's like, what happened to him? It was better explained in Impact when he took the ass whooping, and that explained it because it's like he lost his mind. He took a severe ass whooping. In this one, it's more of like a nervous breakdown happened in the ring.
See, what you just said right there. This is why, and I know that they did it on, and we're going to get to Raw because I know we're going a little bit off topic, but I know they had him lose to Wyatt on Raw, and that was what kicked off all of this. But my thought is, why not save that for a bigger venue, such as a pay-per-view, where everybody is going to watch.
Hey, that was the only big thing to come out of that 25th anniversary. Think about it. Yep. That was it. And that, so they that's the only thing they gave us. So if anybody ever thinks back, all right, when did Mac become Woken? Well, it was at that 25th anniversary at the Hammerstein.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was it.
I was gonna say that that's the problem with WWE is that, like, you're right about that. There's a lot of casual viewers or stuff like that, and don't understand the complexities of these characters and their history, even beyond that company and previous companies and all that. The problem with WWE is they have every episode as if people are watching for the very first time.
Yeah.
They explain everything as if you've just started watching for the first time.
That's it. That's it. It's wrestling for novice. You know, this is it. You will be up to date from this episode. Yo, I haven't watched wrestling in years. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna be lost. No, you won't. They will make sure you know everything that's going on that you need to know. Once you're done with that episode, that 3-hour episode, you are up to date and you are good to go. You know, they don't want people getting left behind with, like, in those, you know, novellas and soap operas and shit where people can't just jump in. Wait, Tony died? How is Gina in a coma? What's going on? You know, they don't do that. They fill you in. Recap. Did you see what happened last week? Don't worry. We're going to show you what happened 2 weeks ago and even 3 weeks ago when this feud started. Like,
and then we'll talk about it during the match just to remind you.
Yeah, and like, we'll just keep
how many times I've heard that Dean Ambrose is a lunatic and he's crazy.
And the matches he had. Do you remember this? You remember that? If not, go watch it on the WWE Network.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah. So let's shift gears to Monday Night Raw. I'm just going to ask you guys what you liked and didn't like. How about you go first, Adam?
I think that what I liked was with what they're doing with Ronda, just doing something with her. I like the fact that she came out and she got serious, and you know she actually opened up. She did a little bit of a shoot, saying, you know, I want to rip your fucking arm out and do this whole thing. You know, I didn't understand the sucker punch to Kurt Angle. That what was that all about? It's like, oh, let me get out of here. You know, it's like I can understand if you like smacked them or something. He punched them and laid him out. And now we're supposed to care about a fight unless that wakes up Kurt Angle and turns him into, you know, the badass that we know. But that was pointless. But I did like, you know, what they were getting ready with her to, you know, that whole thing. That was okay. You know, shit. What was the other one? What was the other?
Well, here's a question. A question that I want you to ask, and you all can answer this question. What did you think of the Roman Reigns promo about Brock Lesnar?
Oh, well, that's what I went to bring. I knew there was something that happened. Yeah. So here's the thing. When I'm watching this, and I'm sure everybody here, because we've watched this shit for way too long and an unhealthy amount of this shit, we're watching this and we're like, this is a work. This is not a shoot. No way in hell. He's like, oh, I know they're going to be pissed in the back, you know, but this is what I got to say. I was like, no, that's not how this shit works, you know, because if it was like that, we're going to commercial break in 3, 2, 1, you know, boop, you know. But then again, I can see how some people were like, well, CM Punk still had the mic during the pipe bomb, and that was legit. That's true. That's true. But whatever. It's what he said that didn't add up. One, Brock was sending pictures on Twitter, Facebook with Dana White doing this whole thing, and he didn't want to show up to the show. That would never happen. That wouldn't fly. Because even if he didn't, Paul Heyman would have come out, and nobody would have known the difference. He would have said something. So that wasn't there. And when he started shooting on, and he doesn't care about the bids, and he's talking all this stuff, and and then I again, so all started dawning on me. I'm like, oh, I see where they're going with this. They're trying to make him the baby face for that match. Mm-hmm. They are trying to get everybody to back him, but like, yeah, he's there wrestling, and that dude isn't. We saw that when Cena was doing the whole thing with The Rock that time, where he's like, you're a part-timer, you're doing movies, I'm here every night on the road, blah, 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 you know, and they have to, you know, you have to have a baby face and a heel. That's just how it works. you know. And when I saw that, I'm like, okay, I see where it's going. But what sort of threw me off is then Sports Illustrated comes out and they says there's more to this than what you think. And what they were saying is that Brock has hit his max of all his appearances, you know, for the shows. Like he's guaranteed that he told him he's working certain pay-per-views, but there's certain amount of appearances that he has to do. And this was one of them that they wanted him to do pro bono, you know, and he didn't want to do it. You know, and I'm like, okay, but what about Paul Lee? You know, why couldn't Paul Lee come out? Like, that's the thing that sort of throws a wrench with what this guy's saying, because under this reporter for Sports Illustrated, what he was saying is basically he went over the whole account of appearances. So he decided there was no need to do that because everybody already knows that the outcome is that he's going to drop the title. He feels just like everybody else. It's all predictable. Everybody knows I'm going to drop titles, and he knows that he's going to get some kind of new deal. But he also knows he wants to go back to the UFC, and everybody knows that too. And he made that obvious by having that picture sent out, and people like, oh, well, maybe he didn't know about the picture. The fucking guy's wearing a UFC t-shirt. Okay, he's wearing a UFC t-shirt. If you don't want people taking pictures like that, then you don't wear the fucking UFC t-shirt. So he knew exactly what he was doing. You know, and it's no surprise. But here's the other thing: the Zuffa brothers don't own it. It's a different group that owns UFC. It's a different relationship with WWE and UFC, and that ownership group is it's a group of people from the business, and they're all trying to just make UFC more mainstream. And so they see the pattern. They see people jumping ship and going into wrestling and some going back and forth. And as opposed to repel from it, they actually want to embrace it. They want to see this work. You know, they want to see some of these crossovers like this because it just, you know, brings more attention. Some people are like, oh, it's a gimmick and it's and this and that. Pride used to do it all the time. You know, little man, big man, and all the stupidness and some giants and stuff. So UFC is just jumping in on that. It's different ownership. They're like, you didn't do it before. Different ownership. You know, Dana White's just a figurehead. He's the president, but he doesn't make the big choices, the big decisions. There's other people behind that. You know, and they see the plus of this, and I'm sure they've working something out. I'm sure in my mind, I see some craziness happening. I see now that Bobby Lashley's there. I see Bobby. They give Brock a new deal, but Brock has to go fight in the UFC. Then UFC, maybe win or lose, he comes back to fight Bobby, right? Bobby becomes the big man, right? They have a battle. He can't beat him. Maybe he does. Who knows? I'm thinking he doesn't beat him. He goes back to UFC or he takes some time off. Bobby comes out, says, you know what? You don't want to fight me in the wrestling ring? Maybe you'll fight me in the cage. Oh, now we're taking the wrestling performance to the cage. And some people are like, oh, no, it's not going to look right. People are going to think it's work. No, because they know they're both legit. Hell, Bobby has a better MMA record than Brock does. You know, Bobby's like, what, like 8-1 or some shit. He hasn't lost in a while. You know, so they could easily do a cross like that. You know, and everybody wins on this. But I just, anyway, the whole thing with the Sports Illustrated, once he said that, and I was like, all right, well, we know that this is it. We all know that the contract ends after WrestleMania, you know, and we know that he wants to go to UFC. So maybe there was some truth to all of this. And maybe they did say, you know, go out there and start this whole thing out. Maybe Paulie was back there. And they were like, you know, no, don't stay back here. We're gonna make this work toward Roman's favor because they know once he comes out, he's gonna get booed. You know, and they know when that match happens, you know, at Mania, it's gonna get a lot of boos from both. It's gonna remind. No, I predict what happened with Goldberg and Brock. Remember when everybody knew both of them were leaving?
Oh yeah.
Right. And then they had that Mania match. People booed the whole fucking time because no one cared who was gonna win because they knew you're both leaving anyway. You know, and it felt like one of those situations here, but it's like they know that his contract's up. He wants to go to the UFC. He's already doing that. And a lot of people already know Roman's gonna be the guy, even though they don't want it. They know, and he's gonna drop the belt. That match is already predictable, and that's your main event for Mania.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so what do you do? What do you do? The only thing you can do is try to put some heat on the other guy. And that's it. They were like, you know what? We'll say some horrible shit, and I'm sure we'll hear even more horrible stuff, you know, unless Paul E comes out, you know, and tries to squash it, but then that would be pointless, you know. So let it build up, and then hopefully something happens at Mania, you know, but we know the outcome. You know, the only thing that could save it is not going to happen because we saw that, and that was when Roman Reigns won, remember, and the confetti was coming down, and then Seth Rollins cashed in his money in the bank and beat his ass, and he took it. The confetti was still coming down, and he won the belt. We're not going to see that because nobody.
No,
yeah,
you haven't mixed up. It was Sheamus who did that.
Was it? No.
Sheamus did that. Sheamus did that. What happened was WrestleMania 31. In the middle of the match, Reigns against Lesnar. They were both down, and
Rollins came out.
Rollins ran down.
Yeah, it was Rollins.
Briefcase, cashed in, and said, "Okay, this is now going to be a 3-man match." And then that's when Rollins ended up pinning Reigns and winning the belt that way. The confetti thing was the time that.
So I'm mixing them two up. All right.
This is the time that Roman Reigns won it for the first time at Survivor Series after Rollins had to vacate the belt, and Sheamus had the Money in the Bank that time.
Right. So but I definitely don't remember him cashing in, you know, and he just stole the win right out of Roman Reigns because it was like, oh, and they were like, oh, and then they got the cheer. But nobody has the Money in the Bank now, right? Besides the Diva chick, the Princess of Staten Island.
I forgot about Carmella, yeah.
She's the only one, and she can't run in and go against it. So it's like, what do you do? You know what I mean? This is the outcome. This is what we're going to have. Unless they do what they've been doing in all these pay-per-views and just make it a 3-way or 4-way and throw in, you know, another monkey wrench of Braun or somebody. You know, we already know what's going to happen.
You can always have something because if you going way back to, was it WrestleMania 9? The one that was at Caesar's Palace. Remember, that was Bret Hart versus Yokozuna. And they had Yokozuna win that, but then they had Hogan come in afterwards. And then, we're going to throw a challenge. And, you know, and Hulk Hogan goes in, and now they have the impromptu match where Hogan beats Yokozuna and gets the belt.
How did he accept that? Once they rang the bell and that made it official or something?
It was something. I don't remember. It's been such a while, but it was just a thing where like where Bret lost because the salt was thrown into his eyes,
thrown in his face,
and he was pinned that way. And then the only thing I remember was Hogan coming out and then like to help out Bret Hart, and then Mr. Fuji pulling out the challenge. And Bret Hart barely being able to see is telling Hogan, like, go in there, just go and do it. And he's like, oh,
yeah. And then he did it, yeah.
It was so tacky. So, it was so incredibly tacky. But they could totally have Cena do something like that.
Oh, man, Cena. I don't know.
And Cena would get his, record-breaking thing, and you close it out like that. And it's like, okay, man.
I don't know. But that's they got to think of something to save this Mania, at least this main event. They got to think of something.
I don't know. Again, like here's the thing. I want to like Roman Reigns, but he's been poisoned to these last few WrestleManias. I remember like with WrestleMania 32, the one in 32, him against Triple H. It's like, okay, obviously Roman Reigns is going to win that. There has to be a catch here. There has to be a catch. There has to be someone interfering, or maybe Roman Reigns is going to go full heel and turn. There's going to be some crazy thing to make this not so predictable. Nope. Yeah. Just had Roman Reigns win it. That was it. Then you have fast forward to last year. And it's like, okay, we're actually going to have a non-title match close out the show. Roman Reigns and Undertaker. And I'm like, we'll see where this goes. And during the match, I was like, okay, Roman Reigns is kind of being a dick to Undertaker. Hopefully this is the start of the heel turn. And it's just like, nope. It's just a flat-out win, and that's it. And then the next night, I'm telling you, the next night, Roman Reigns was booed like no one I've ever heard.
Yeah, I remember that.
And the company still ignored it.
And that was it. Oh, man. And he kept losing after that, though. Remember, Braun? That was the time when Braun was just destroying him, smashing him against ambulances and doing all that craziness. But man, yeah, it sucks. It sucks. You know, and I feel the same way. I'm like, you know what? He's not horrible, but he's just not good. You know, it's not. He's not entertaining to watch. Is the whole issue? It's like Superman punch, spear, Superman punch, and it's like that doesn't help. The Superman punch, I remember when they first thought it was a specialty leading up to. Sometimes he would even finish with it, and I was like, oh wow, that was cool. That came out of nowhere. He does it like 5-6 times in a match. It's not special anymore. You know, and he's just not entertaining. And then, you know, coming out with his SWAT gear and everything when he's supposed to be the Roman Empire, they got to do something else.
They have to switch it up, change his entrance, change his music, change the gear, make him be his own person. He is not the Shield. He was just a former member of the Shield. Yeah, now the thing I was gonna say was that 2013 Survivor Series, when he went and eliminated 4 guys and was sole survivor for his team. That was the moment where I was like, uh-oh. They're strapping the rocket to this guy. Uh-oh. We gotta watch out for this guy. And the thing is that I was pulling for him, and that, you know, at the end, and so were other people. Like, that was like a breakout performance for him. And then you'll remember that Royal Rumble where they had Batista win it. Roman Reigns was a finalist there, and the fans were rooting for Roman Reigns. Yeah. That doesn't happen anymore. That was the last Royal Rumble that happened for this guy.
Well, then it's like, it makes you wonder. But then I don't know how many people listen to it. I also feel that after CM Punk did that whole shoot interview with, you know, Cole Cabana talking about how he had to make him look strong and make him so, I'm like, okay, I'm hearing that. I don't know how many other people were hearing. It felt like the whole universe, WWE universe, heard that shit, because then they started boring the shit out of him afterwards. I'm like, damn, did everybody listen to that episode? You know, it's like they really turned on him quick with that.
That episode came out on Thanksgiving of that year. I remember 2014. But the thing is that, quite honestly, I think the fans were already starting to turn against them once the Shield, you know, once Seth Rollins betrayed the Shield, because, you know, you remember Dean Ambrose, and it always goes back to Ambrose for me, but he had that very passionate feud with Rollins, the guy who stabbed him in the back and all that stuff, whereas Roman Reigns didn't seem to really give a shit. It was just like, I'll go after Randy Orton, and then I'm going to go after the championship. You don't give a shit about Rollins at all? You know, like he was just so, from that very point on, he was just so, like, disinterested and boring and stuff. And I think that it was even I think it was that same year that he, I think it was that promo he had backstage where he forgot his line, where he said he was declaring himself for the Royal Rumble. Like, yeah, I'm going to declare for the Royal Rumble match, and then he, like, kind of stares at the camera for like a few seconds trying to remember his lines. And it even felt like on Raw that he forgot his lines for a second there, that what he was going to say. You even see him talking to himself like, oh.
Yeah, that happened again when he was going back and forth with Cena.
Yeah.
You know, and Cena was basically chewing him up. Yeah, exactly. You're not ready. You're not on this level. You know, and this and that. You couldn't even remember what he was saying. You know, and that's what it is.
Yeah. Head to head with Cena, he couldn't handle it. And then you'll remember the following week, he does a better promo now that he had a chance to rehearse it a little more, and he didn't have Cena in the ring to retort. You know, he's just on that level. And then now you have this, where he's alone in the ring, and he's like, okay, you know, he started out being bland, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna talk all passion now. All right, this guy's a bitch, and things like that. But let's see what happens if he has to talk with Heyman. He'll freeze up.
Oh yeah. But then to just talk about, like, the other BS rumor, which I don't know if it's legit, but that whole thing with the steroids. You remember there's a video or something that's supposed to come out.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, I don't believe that, and I don't know where all that's coming from, you know. But if something does come up, that's a whole other monkey wrench that could really derail the whole thing for him, and that could be the final straw. You know, because I mean, he has been, you know, suspended before for the wellness policy and
Adderall,
the Adderall and all that. But then here's the other thing that we didn't bring up that's all linked to this. WWE also recently announced that they're not going to publicize all their results for the steroid testing, well, for the wellness testing. They're no longer going to make that information public.
Yeah, I think
under the rug.
Did we talk about that?
I think we spoke about that last week.
Did it?
Yeah, I think it was with NXT that they weren't announcing.
Yeah, NXT. Yeah.
Yeah. So if they're not doing that, I mean, they're phasing that part out, and so hopefully we never really think about it and don't link steroids with wrestling because do that whole thing. But I don't know. I mean, I think Vince has it set in his mind that Roman will be the guy, and he will force feed him just like he did with Cena. Think about it. Cena was almost in that same boat. But the thing is, Cena can work the mic. And that was it. And Roman can't do that. And he's been there for a few years, and he's had opportunities. It's just not who he is. Not everybody can do that. You got to recognize his strength. His strength is just being the big man of a group, is being the big man in the ring. Give him some other big man moves. Stop with the damn Superman punch and the spear. Too many people do that shit. Change it up a little bit. That's all. Hell, they've even Cena busting out different moves now. But he got his own variation of the TKO that he's doing mid-match.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you got to change things up, and they're not doing that with him. He's all gimmick. Ooh, ah, and all that stuff. It's all gimmick. And and I think I told you we brought up like last year. I was saying when I was watching wrestling, sitting with my daughter. And he came out and he was talking stuff, and Samoa Joe and everybody was like, "Who's gonna win?" It's like, well, the big strong guy's gonna win. Look at him. I was like, why him? Look, he looks so strong. And I'm sure they were like, that's our focus group, and case closed. See, little kid, see him as the big strong man. They're gonna buy his shirts. They're gonna believe him. He is what they want, and that's always been WWE's thing. Vince's thing has always been the big man. Remember, it's Land of the Giants. That was it. If you're a little wrestler, you're never going to make it there, because that's not how Vince does things. He wants the wow factor, and that wow factor does work on little kids, but he forgets these little kids grow up, and then they watch this, and then they see it for what it is, and they see the actual craft and the artwork of pro wrestling, and that you don't have to be a big man to do it. And hell, a lot of big men can't really do it. They're all gimmick. They can't really work.
So I do have a quick question, but Dana, how about you go first and share your thoughts on Monday Night Raw? Then I'll ask my question to go back to what you asked.
Well, the show basically was just meh to me. Again, Ronda Rousey, and he get punched.
That shovel.
It was so weird. They went and punched Angle in the face. And her just running to the ring. It was so odd. I didn't like it, as you guys already know. John Cena, with his speech that he gives the same time every year, basically during every match that he has, I'm the best, and I'm going to go find the rest of them. And I don't care what I have to do. I'm going to accomplish my dreams. So bored behind that. So now he's going to be on Smackdown because he's the only free agent in the whole company. And just basically beg people for a match. Okay. The women's match was good. It was decent. Nothing really spectacular there. Finn Balor defeating The Miz. That was a good match. I like that match. Let's see. Everything else was just mushed in all together. The Heath Slater, I'm happy they still have him wrestling, but he's jobbing now. And he jobbed to Bray Wyatt. I wish they would really do something more with him and Rhino, because I really like them together. And it's just disrespectful that they don't do anything with them. But yeah, overall, it was just decent. There wasn't anything that really stood out aside from that whole horrible Ronda Rousey thing.
Okay, so one question I want to ask real quick, to go back to what you said, Adam, about Vince always focused on the big men. So is it safe to say that when AJ Styles gets moved to Raw, that they're just going to have this guy jobbing out to Reigns and all the other people on the show? Or do you think they would actually give him the Universal title?
That's tough. I don't know. I don't think that is very tough. It depends. It depends on who's the champ. If you can eliminate Brock from the whole thing, if he can go away, then I think it can become more balanced. Because you see they're giving Rollins his push again. And if you have Rollins in there, he can work with almost anybody, but he works better with guys that are more like him, with his style. AJ's in that category. Finn's in that category. Hell, even Samoa Joe's in that category. They can all work. It'll work out. But you got to get Brock out of the picture, because that's the thing. You have all these guys, and they look great together, paired together, and then you throw in a Brock. And just like I said with my daughter with Roman Reigns, Brock looks even more devastating, and you just have to predict that he's going to smash everybody. That's just how it should be, if you go based off of just size. And that's just what sucks, because let's say even if Finn Balor was to stay the top guy and he was in there, if you put him on a poster next to Brock, it doesn't look right. He looks like he belongs on 205 Live. Think about it. It doesn't matter how well he works in the ring and the whole thing. People just don't care. I mean, little man coming up only works as gimmicks. We saw with Rey Mysterio when he did it. Remember, with the Batista feud and the Big Show feud, and he was slaying giants and doing that whole thing. The underdog. But that's not how Finn is portrayed. He's not the underdog. He's a worker. He's a great, athlete. He can perform. Mm-hmm. But not when you put him against someone that's like Brock, and someone like Brock who's legit, who fought in the UFC and was a champ. You know what I mean? He ruins it. He ruins it when it comes to that. So they got to get him out of the way. And hopefully once he's gone and, they take that belt, and that'll get off of Roman. Roman is a big guy, but I think he still sort of balances out with everybody else, that it'll be believable if Finn beats him or one of the other ones. The casuals or the young kids, they could accept it. I don't think right now they accept that anybody can beat Brock. And that's the tricky part with all of it. So it really comes down to that, and then look, ratings show Brock isn't the answer. They put him on and it wasn't giving any big boost, but when they did that gauntlet match that Rollins had, showing actual wrestling, the numbers went up. People want to see that. So hopefully they wise up, and now that they got the less commercial thing coming, don't fill that up with promo shit. Fill that up with wrestling. And we know that Brock isn't there to wrestle, so he's there just to do his appearances at pay-per-views, make his money, and walk out. So
that's true. Very good point. All right, so any final thoughts on Monday Night Raw? You had anything you wanted to add, Ricky, or are you good?
I'm good.
Okay, so let's move on to SmackDown, which I think now that is definitely Dana's favorite show, because they have somewhat improved since the last couple of weeks have been absolutely horrible. I don't know about that. Was there anything that you guys liked or didn't like about SmackDown Live? How about you go first, Dana?
Oh gosh. Let's see. I thought it was okay. Again, it improved somewhat. It was still boring. But let's see.
Well, here's a question. What did you think of the John Cena AJ Styles match? Did you think that John Cena actually was going to lose that match, or what? Because I mean, now he's in the Fatal 5-Way at Fastlane because he won it. So
I thought it was really stupid. I thought it was like some type of last ditch effort thing. I didn't like it at all. I don't understand why we're having a 5-way to begin with. But I didn't like it. And I didn't really expect him to win. He's been losing so much that I didn't expect him to win anything for once. And I kind of thought he was going to be busy doing his movie stuff, so it really wouldn't matter for WrestleMania. But he's there, and I didn't like it at all.
Yeah, I was surprised by it too. I really same thing. I thought he was going to be gone for this whole, Transformer movie, but it is WrestleMania, and like we just talked about, they always make sure to bring back all the big names from Mania, and then that's hopefully we all know he's going to lose this, and then he'll go and film his stuff.
Yeah, like even if they
just show up on Walking Dead, that'd be fun.
My whole thing is even if they have him open the show like they did last year, and have him do like a match with some random, that would have been fine. But to put him in a 5-way, I don't understand why.
I personally think that was designed specifically to try to make people think, because they figure, well, AJ Styles versus Nakamura is definitely going to happen, so they want to try to do as much as they can to try to throw people off, because the casual viewer may think, oh, well, yeah, AJ Styles won't retain his belt, but we already know as fans, yeah, AJ Styles is definitely going to win the match. That's the only thing I can think of.
But even with that, it just makes me think that the writers themselves had nothing for John Cena, because he's just kind of wandering around. So remember how they had Nakamura, how they didn't have him on the show last week because they had nothing for him. So I just don't understand what's going on with him at all, or what they're trying to do with him.
Well, since you brought that up, I'm also going to add that one thing I took away from SmackDown is that they also don't have anything to do. They don't have anything for Nakamura to do either, because they put him in a match against Aiden English and had Rusev ringside. Now, we already know Rusev is getting over with the fans. So that move right there, you trying to make people go against Rusev because he's out there with Aiden English and Nakamura's in it also. That tells me they have no plans for these guys. So I didn't understand that either.
The whole show is a disaster. It's awful. They have plans for no one. It was just awful. The whole thing was just boring. And then, it was a slight improvement compared to last week, but they have nothing for these guys. And that's just ridiculous. I don't understand that. And I'm really sick and tired of the Usos and the New Day.
Yeah. I
feel like we've watched them since the beginning of time.
What I don't get is that here it is. We're about to have another Dusty Rhodes Classic. This tag team tournament. When these tag teams need to be called up ASAP, because they're right now tag team division's hurting on Raw and SmackDown, like you just mentioned. It's like it's the same old shit. Call some of these tag teams out. Call the Authors of Pain up already.
You know what's funny too is that I sense that the writers know this, because they've had now on back-to-back weeks, both of the tag champions make reference to like, oh, well, we're the best tag team, we can't be beat. Like trying to say, oh, well, there's no competition. But there is competition. Like you said, Authors of Pain, they should have been called up by now.
Yeah.
But they're obviously going to wait until after WrestleMania to reset all this other stuff, and then they'll add these guys in there or whoever else they're going to add. But yeah, they both tag divisions they need an overhaul. So I don't know.
I wanted to just butt in real quickly about that. On the Raw side, the Sheamus and Cesaro promo after they retained their belt was weird, because I was waiting to see where they're going with it. Is someone going to come out and challenge them? That promo seemed to last for a while. Like, where's this going? It went nowhere. It's just that's strange.
That's exactly how the Usos was when they did theirs a couple weeks ago, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we're the best." And you would think, and then you saw Bludgeon Brothers. That's Adam's favorite tag team. Walk out there.
Did you see how they messed up and they called John Cena the Bludgeon Brothers?
Yeah, they put the Bludgeon Brothers graphic under his name.
That was the highlight of the show. Was them screwing up.
Yeah. It's SmackDown was such a better show after they did the brand split, and when they told you that they had different writers on the show, it just felt like it was a lot better. When they first went live, it felt like they had to put out a good product, and they had less than Raw. But now that Vince has overseen and taken over all of this stuff, well, now it's going down the tube. So I don't really know what anybody can think about SmackDown. One thing I will add is this whole thing with Jinder Mahal, Bobby Roode, and Randy Orton. I don't really care about this. Randy Orton will have his match against Bobby Roode for the U.S. title now at Fastlane, but that's also disappointing because that whole thing is built around that stupid storyline with that list, because you haven't seen anyone else acknowledge the list except for these guys. So that's why Daniel Bryan came up with that list idea. That was all a storyline just for the U.S. title. So ridiculous.
Don't worry, everything will all change when Jeff Jarrett is the writer.
Oh boy.
Hey, it's possible, I guess. We'll see. All right, Ricky, did you have anything that you liked or didn't like about SmackDown, or are you good?
There was very little of it I saw. I just saw like the end, like the final match where Cena won, and it's like, okay, well, they got to throw him into this fast lane somehow, and that's how they're going to do it. What was it? I did want to complain about something Raw related real quickly. I just realized, what the hell are they doing with the Intercontinental Championship? Having Miz against now Seth Rollins and Finn Balor, and then you have to have Seth Rollins, in all seriousness, have a promo and saying, "Yeah, I want to go to WrestleMania and fight for the Intercontinental Championship." He looked like he wanted to throw up when he was saying that. I wanted to throw up listening to that. It's just like, how do you go from wanting to be the best to selling for trying to get a mid-card championship from The Miz? It was just bizarre. And you know that there's going to be more people added to it. They're probably going to have a fucking ladder match when it's all said and done. Just a complete joke.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because I keep hearing there were rumors that Seth Rollins is going to be the guy that's going to be sent to SmackDown when they do this shakeup again. So it's still related to SmackDown.
Yeah.
Because I mean the whole thing they were building up, and that is a major difference from the week before, where he had the great performance in the gauntlet match, and then he said at the end when he lost, well, if I don't win at Elimination Chamber, then it doesn't mean anything. And then all of a sudden, fast forward to a week later, he's all happy and stuff. Oh yeah, not down about the loss, happy and looking forward to the Intercontinental title. That definitely is some BS.
Yeah, it's a complete change in mindset. It's a loser's mindset of like, I'm totally okay with getting this second place trophy that I'm going after here, or whatever. It's just no, it doesn't feel right. Ambrose, I'm gonna mention Ambrose again. He's my freaking boy. WrestleMania 31. He was chasing after the Intercontinental Championship. I believe Wade Barrett was holding it at the time. He was chasing Barrett for the belt, and he made the Intercontinental belt seem important. He's like, this matters. There's a whole lot of legends that have held it. I want to have my name among them. This is what matters to me right now, and all that. And what ended up happening is everyone else is like, oh, I want to go for that belt. I want to go for that belt. I want to go for the belt. They had a ladder match. And they had Daniel Bryan win it because the WWE belt was off limits for him. They were going to give him the mid-card belt. So it almost feels like with guys like Balor and Rollins, it's like, well, Brock Lesnar's the guy holding the top belt, and Roman Reigns is the one that's going to get it. So that's off limits for you guys, but you can go get the scraps.
That's exactly what it is. Exactly what it is.
That's exactly the thing. And it's a shame because you're talking about Finn Balor again, a guy who was the Universal Champion, the first one. And a guy like Seth Rollins, who won the freaking WWE Championship at WrestleMania in an epic cash-in. And he was carrying the company for a year, I thought, right before his injury and all that. Just an amazing performer. And he's being relegated to mid-card. It's unfortunate, and to segue this into SmackDown in some way, I do want to go back to like when the brand split happened. SmackDown felt fresh because you had a new different roster and all that stuff, but just the way they presented it, even different camera angles, interesting storylines, and just everything.
They got rid of those camera angles. I haven't seen those in a while.
Yeah, I miss it. They were great. I loved it. And then, like, again, the writing, everything felt fresh. Everything, it was a breath of fresh air. I loved it. And now everything we hated about Raw is what we're getting on SmackDown.
Yeah. I don't get it. But this all brings up again why I think they should just introduce another belt. Raw should have its own belt, and that Universal title should just be like up somewhere else. Have someone like Cena have it, where he gets to compete on Raw and SmackDown. He has the title. It's a universal belt. You defend it everywhere, but there is a championship on Raw because right now they don't have it. Look, like you said, they're going for scraps. Everything else, they can't even touch that one.
The championship on Raw is Brock Lesnar. It's facing and beating Brock Lesnar. Yeah. That's how they do it.
That's it. And no one seems to be able to do it. And it just seems to be a round robin. As long as he has a contract, he stays champ. Which is also funny because I remember when they did it with The Rock, it was mainly because, The Rock is in Hollywood. He was walking around. He was doing interviews and people were saying, hey, aren't you also the champion at WWE? Yes, I am. And this and that. Brock doesn't do any of those appearances. He doesn't do any of that shit. He goes back on his farm and hunts. You know what I mean? He only comes out when he has to fight or wrestle. So, there was no point to have him with the belt. He doesn't need it. He can still be a monster and come out then, but he doesn't need the belt.
Everything is for Roman Reigns. All will be sacrificed for Roman Reigns. That's the thing. Braun Strowman, twice now. It happened last year, and it happened this year. Strowman was built up just so that Roman Reigns can beat him, topple the giant. Brock Lesnar built up to be this unstoppable guy. He buried Cena at SummerSlam years ago, all that stuff. He buried Cena, of all people. Built up to be this monster. He ended Undertaker's streak, all that shit, just so that Roman Reigns could beat him. Everyone will be sacrificed for Roman Reigns, and that's the frustrating thing about all this.
Hey, he's the big dog, and it's his yard, so I guess that's what Vince is thinking about.
And it's the shame. It's just that he has the look. That's what Vince likes. He has the look, and obviously little kids like that. It's the look, and he's respected backstage because he puts up with a lot. He's done a lot of shit. He's done the best he can to improve, and he's a leader. People respect him back there, so he has to be rewarded for that. And that's what this is all about. I mean, we're not seeing it because there's better quality in that organization. They're just not getting that shot. But behind the scenes, I wonder, we don't hear it. I don't think we ever will until somebody leaves. Like, does anyone in the back, do they want him to be the champ? Like, are they opposed to it? Or is everybody like, yeah, give him the belt. Yeah.
That's a good question.
We don't know because we know how we feel. We know how the universe feels, but how do the boys in the back feel? I mean, it's one of those lesser two evils. The way I see it, it's like, all right, well, you don't want Brock to still have it because that's pointless, So who else is there? And right now, they're only forcing us with the Roman Reigns. So I guess so, but I don't know.
I'm sure he's well liked, but
yeah.
I mean, he's the leader. Remember?
He's what?
The locker room leader.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like he's considered the locker room leader, right?
Well, wait, hold on. Brock Lesnar's the locker room leader?
No, Roman.
Oh, okay, I'm about to say.
Then he replaced Undertaker's role as the locker room leader.
Okay.
Supposedly, Undertaker gave him the gavel to control the boys.
This is your yard now.
This is your yard. That's it. Number one, you're now the captain.
The problem I have with that is that there's a lot of guys in the back who are well liked, who don't get that push that he's getting. It's about, okay, I understand guys having respect. That's cool. But be entertaining. Be entertaining.
That's it. That's where it hurts. He's not entertaining.
Well, remember, CM Punk hated him for that reason as well.
That's true. So we'll see. Any other thoughts on SmackDown, or you guys good?
No Shinsuke. That was weird.
Oh yeah. Oh no, he had his match with Aiden English.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. I forgot the Aiden because of the whole Rusev thing, and I'm so surprised that's over. I don't know.
If the Bludgeon Brothers had a match also,
they actually tried to use their mallets. Remember, they actually went to pick them up and bring it back to the ring. I was like, oh, are we gonna see something? But those mallets are way too big. Like that's bigger than the sledgehammer that Triple H used to walk around with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right.
It's a stupid gimmick. I hope that fades out.
What are they doing with Ziggler? Could someone explain that to me? Like, is he good? Is he bad? What is he?
Yeah, he did an Emelina where they didn't have anything for him to do. They didn't know, so they just reverted him back to old Ziggler.
Yeah, it's just weird.
Well, you already know that you because we had a conversation about this after you watched. Oh yeah, they're going to end up having a 6-man tag match next week.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, so I guess that's how they're going. That's the little storyline. They'll have people trying to guess whether or not he will cooperate with all these other people, because they're all got to face each other next weekend. So I don't know.
Here's the thing: is I can watch. I can tell you what happened on SmackDown without watching it. Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon bitched at each other about something. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn have some strife with each other about something. Bludgeon Brothers make a sudden appearance. There you go. Like there's your SmackDown right there.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. Okay, so I believe a few thoughts. Do you guys have anything you wanted to say? I do have one final question I do have to end off the show with, but before I get to that, any thoughts on the mixed match challenge? And since Adam said they took off 205 Live, any thoughts on NXT? So let's start with mixed match challenge. Adam, what did you think of the mixed match challenge?
Pass. Pass.
You will sit through 4 hours of crappy wrestling, then another 3 hours of the poopy little pay-per-view, but you won't sit through 10 minutes of mixed match
challenge should live up to the name, and I want to see guys fighting girls fighting guys. I want to see chaos. I don't want to see this whole sham that they have here with these tags. That's BS.
Well, you not getting that because you already know that WWE does not like to actually have that anymore.
I know, so then I don't want to see it.
But yet you sit through pay-per-views and Monday Night Raw and SmackDown.
Yep, I will accept that. Yes, I do.
And you like
pay-per-views are canon. Mixed match challenge is not canon.
Exactly, not canon.
It's filler.
It's a filler gimmick in partnership with Facebook to help them out. I'm sure there was some money given. Hey, can you give us some programming? We can make up some shit. Thank you. And that was it. Charity. Yeah, okay. That yeah, all right.
Wow. Guys are heartless. Anyway, it was really fun. Yay. Finn Balor and Sasha Banks versus The Miz and Asuka. Yay. Also, you had Beth Phoenix doing commentary. Double yay.
Is she better than Lita?
Anyone's better than Lita.
Oh, damn.
Except for Ronda.
Oh, man. I'm surprised you even like mixed match challenge. You don't like female wrestlers. Damn.
I do too.
That's right. You do like to bash them.
Oh, goodness gracious. You are just mean.
No, I'm the mean one. Girl's been there 3 weeks. You're throwing her under the bus. I'm like, oh, hey, I hate her. Fire her now. Fire her.
She needs to be off TV for a full year. A full year.
Yeah, give her time. Give her time. The Rock, think if you were in charge, The Rock would have never been The Rock. He would have still been Maivia with the cheap ass ponytail, and he would have never made it.
Rock works
he would have never made it.
He has personality. Ronda does not.
He didn't have it at first when he was just Rocky Maivia. That was the cheesiest shit.
It's still you saw his personality shine through.
Well, he had time. That didn't happen overnight. That was years in development. Same thing with Ronda. Remember, and who blessed Ronda with this whole thing? The Rock. The Rock said, "You can do this." He's
The Rock
really
doesn't count anymore. He's not a wrestler.
No, but he didn't have to do that. He could have told her this before when she was talking about it. She did an interview talking about where she considered it, at some point, and she wasn't sure. And the Rock was like, "You can do this. This is definitely something you could do. And you could be good at it. Be one of the best." He wouldn't do that to blow smoke up her ass. He has no reason to do that.
It sounds to me like The Rock has lived up to his name as entertainer, and that was why he told her that.
Oh man, so he could watch her fail. So when she was like, "Oh man, they cut me, Rock, I thought you said that I was gonna work out," and he was like, "I lied. That's what you call a lie. I'm a heel." No, he's not gonna do this.
Yes, he entertained her. So boom.
No, he didn't have to. He could have been like, "Nah, it's not gonna be. You get bored. The road sucks. Just go to UFC. Just keep doing it." I mean, she's gonna make. I think she's gonna make 10 times more money doing this than she did in UFC. Just with the merch sales and all the other stuff, she's gonna make so much money.
Well, great. It's nice to see she's in there for the money instead of acting.
She's not, but I'm just. Oh, babe, you just jump on any little thing. Forget it. Forget it.
No.
What if Piper was alive, any money bet he would have been her manager.
And I'm cool with that.
Oh, you would have been cool with that. Oh.
Yeah, because she wouldn't have to speak.
Well, she doesn't have to speak, so she needs a mouthpiece. Let's see if Paul Heyman sticks around when Brock is gone.
Oh,
Isn't that one of the other rumors that they're gonna pairing them up?
Yeah.
So let's see.
We'll have her speak and just wrestle and book her better. That's all I ask.
Mm-hmm.
That's and no pointing.
No point. She was told to do. You can't hate people for doing their job. I can understand if she's doing horribly because she makes poor decisions and tries to be witty and is not funny and those type of things. But she's told. She said it, and she didn't know what she was doing. They told her, "Go in there, stare them down, point." That's it. That's what she did.
Well, she should have a mind of her own and know that it's not going to work. Just sit there and point.
Oh yeah, that's what you do when you're your first day of work. I'm here. All right, this we can do. No. Oh shit, we got prima donna. Here we go again. Another Goldberg. God damn. No, you can't do that. They tell you what to do. You do it. It's just the way it works.
I don't like her. But, it's better than Mixed Match Challenge.
It is.
Watching her downfall. But back to Mixed Match Challenge. It was really great. It was fun. Asuka and Miz has chemistry with each other, and they made jokey jokes, and that was good. Finn Balor, he was great as well with his little wrestling, and basically I loved it. Corey Graves and Michael Cole really seems to get into like the little mini arguments, and that was entertaining as well. And of course, you already know that Asuka and The Miz won.
They won what?
The match.
Oh, they didn't win. The tournament's still going, right?
No, the tournament is still going.
Yeah. What's the result? What do they get out of this?
It goes to charity. $100,000.
The winner goes to charity.
So
what I think is going to happen? I'm going to spoil this for you.
I think I already know
what
you're
going to say, right? You know what I'm going to say.
Go ahead.
Everybody's a winner.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's perfect.
Telling you, because it's for charity.
We're gonna donate to all the charities anyway. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
feel good, and you get good matches. So stop it.
Feels good. No, I don't need. I didn't need the matches. They could have just said we're donating on. I've been like, okay, cool.
And you had Naomi.
This is for Facebook. It's publicity for Facebook.
See, that's what I'm saying. It was a payout.
We got this platform called Facebook Live. We want you to watch it. We want you to watch all of our other programs on it. All that shit. That's what that's really all about.
I only have so much time not watching Facebook. I don't even go on Facebook.
It is literally 10 minutes. You guys are just whining to whine.
No, we're not. You're wanting to whine.
I am never
eating on her.
I am actual and factual.
So I have a comment to make on Mixed Match Challenge real quick. I don't know, Ricky, did you see it or you didn't see it?
I did not see it.
Okay, so I'm gonna be quick with my comment. I'm gonna say that the show, like I said, the interactivity of it on Facebook is a good feature. That's fine.
Thank you.
The only complaint I have about that last match was how the match ended, because once again they have these storylines where the ref is stupid all of a sudden. You see that there are 4 people in the ring now. 2 of them are the legal people, but you're like, oh well, I don't know who I should who I should be looking at. I didn't understand that ending. I know they had to tease that Asuka might potentially lose, and we knew that wasn't going to happen. But I just didn't. I don't understand. They always have these things with the refs where they just have no sense of direction. They could be doing fine at the beginning of the match, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh well, now some little clusterfuck finish happens." So it's fine, but I will say that again, I don't have any problem with this whole setup, this whole show tournament, but the fact that Braun Strowman and Alexa Bliss are representing Carnage Cure, and the fact that WWE is in love with the Carnage Cure thing, I think that will make them the favorites to win it all anyway. But we will see what happens. But yeah, Asuka, they may go all the way to the finals because again, they got this whole thing with the streak now, and now that they're adding that to this tournament, also it may make you think otherwise. But we'll see. But yeah, so what?
It's still fun, and there's a lot that WWE can learn and put into Raw and SmackDown by just watching the Mixed Match Challenge.
Oh yeah, well yeah, because a lot of characters they break character and they're a little bit more free to do what they want to do. But when you're on Raw or SmackDown, Vince is like, oh, you have to read these lines, you have to say this, you have to say that. So yeah, they could learn a lot, but honestly, all they need to do is Vince needs to just let people do what they do and not try to micromanage every single wrestler on the roster. But
I gotta give him credit just for even letting a lot of these guys come in with their own previous personas like Samoa Joe, AJ Styles. So I mean, he's already bending a little bit.
Yeah, well, that's probably that's because with Samoa Joe, he was in NXT, so Triple H, Triple H
eased in because I mean they passed on him a long time. I remember one time there was an Impact. I'm pretty sure Impact did a DVD. TNA Impact did a DVD for Samoa Joe, where he talked about how he did meet with one of them, and I think it was JR or something. And basically said that Vince said he didn't have the look. He didn't like his physique.
Mm-hmm.
And we knew that even with Kevin Owens, a lot of people felt as good as Kevin was for Ring of Honor and all the other stuff he's doing, that he would never make it there because of his physique.
Yeah.
And that sucks, but you see, Vince doesn't know everything.
That's true. You're right.
We all know that.
Absolutely.
We know that. He doesn't know that. He doesn't know. That's the problem. He doesn't know that. What was it? Wasn't he recently, like, they said he was touting all the stuff, like, look at him, it's me, I did it. I think it was because he did the gauntlet.
Yep.
Taking responsibility, saying he did the gauntlet. He was like, oh, look, you say I did it right. I was like, yeah, look, see, people want more wrestling. And they don't have to be big men. God damn.
That's right. That's right.
I hate that. I hate gobbling when they go and they hire these guys and they gobble them up and then they take away everything that is what they want from them. Like,
so is this what's going to happen to Ricochet next?
Oh, man, there was I don't know. See, there you go. Sometimes rumors are wrong. Supposedly that was supposed to air on Wednesday. What we saw.
Oh, what?
Yeah, that's what everybody said because that was over in your hometown, over in Atlanta.
Yeah, I was wondering why it still hasn't aired on the actual show.
And that was it. They said it was going to air that on Wednesday, and it didn't. So. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that, if they pushed it or what's their plan or what they're going to do. But see, he's actually a little lower than everybody. He's amazing in the ring. Amazing. We're going to see all kinds of stuff from this man, but he's not amazing on the mic.
Well, listen, Roman Reigns isn't amazing either.
No, yeah, but Roman Reigns is the big man. That's an automatic pass. You know what I mean? That's just how it works.
It's about one thing.
There you go. Exactly. Exactly. There you go. I mean, he would have to do something magical, or just let Triple H, put him on the right path. But I think he's going to be the NXT guy for a long time.
Oh man,
and that's okay.
That's
because
horrible.
they want to. That's okay, because if it all goes out, what the plan was, and if I think they're still going to do it for whether they do the new network deal with USA or with Fox. But I remember they said the plan was to bring NXT to one of those networks, to network TV, so people get to see it. So I could see that happening. And I see him as being the face of NXT, at least for a while. No different than what Finn Balor did. Finn Balor was there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see him doing it. And that's great, because we know as fans, we're going to see some amazing matches before he gets buried on the main roster. So it's better that we see it now. You know what I mean? Let's see it now.
Yeah.
And it's going to be great that we do get to see it. And while we're talking about that, just to shut down this damn Kenny Omega, we don't need Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega doesn't need WWE. He's been there, done that. That's it. He left. It was his decision to leave. He doesn't want to bash and be like, oh well, he's giving it, because he's a businessman. He's playing politics, something that certain people in politics don't know how to do. He's doing it. He's playing the cautious, hey, maybe, who knows? Like, what do you want him to say? Fuck them? No, I'm not going there. I hate them. No, you don't burn bridges in that business. You don't. You never know what tomorrow's going to bring. He can't come out and say, shit, they bury about, no, they're horrible, this and this and that. What if something happens in New Japan, lets them go? And then Ring of Honor says, well, you bashed WWE, so they're not going to want you. We're giving you a bullshit contract, and you're going to take it.
Oh, whoa.
Yo, shit happens. Anything can happen. He's doing the smart thing. That door, it's going to be there. It's going to be somewhat open. He's an amazing performer. Right now, he doesn't need to go anywhere. With the Elite and all the stuff he's doing on YouTube, and, with his performance and his contract and how over he is and all over the world, he doesn't need to get thrown in a bunch of other stars. What WWE likes to do, collect them all. It's like when, you have a master deck of, Magic the Gathering cards or any of those type of games where you have to have good cards. If you have a bunch of good cards, they're all good cards. Nothing shines really, because they're all good. And that's what we're seeing now. All the guys we wanted at some point to go in WWE are there. Mm-hmm. We got Joe. We got AJ. We got Finn. You know what I mean? We got Rollins. We got Roman. That's a joke. Nobody wanted that. We got Dean Ambrose. We got all kinds. I mean, they if you can imagine them being there, we're lucky enough to see it.
Yeah.
It's happened. And now I get people want.
Don't forget, do the shirt. Do the shirt. Strong style.
We got strong style. Hell, even Shinsuke showed up. Are you kidding?
That was the biggest shock for me.
Nobody saw that shit coming, and Shinsuke showed up. And we gotta take it for what it is, and let Kenny do Kenny. Let him do what he has to do. Mm-hmm. And then one day when it all dies down, he'll come in, or hell, who knows? Maybe the walls will be torn down. Triple H will get it and says, you know what, Young Bucks, everybody just come on in, your Bullet Club. We're going to have our club. We're going to have some amazing wars of our own internally like this. Let's run with that, because that's the only real difference between New Japan and WWE. New Japan's big on those the factions, the stables. They're big on that. You got the Chaos, you got the Bullet Club. They were big with the NWO. They have all these other little factions. They like that. They like doing those groups. WWE doesn't really do too much of that. They do tag teams.
I think everybody or almost everybody on New Japan is in a faction.
Yeah,
that's how they have it.
Mm-hmm. So that's their thing, and it seems to work. So let them keep doing it. But we're always going to keep hearing this whole Kenny Omega. Oh, is he going to come? He's going to come. And the only thing I could say is that New Japan, if Kenny, if they want to stop this, then change that 1 year extension to like 2 or 3 years. Give him a multi-year contract, because that last year, that was just a single year, and I think he signed another single year, or he's about to sign another single year. You know, so give him a multi-year contract. There you go. Squash it. That's what they do in other pro sports or, you know, sport team type things, NBA, NFL, all that. They give them multi-year deals.
Yeah.
That's it. And then nobody will talk about it. We won't have to hear it.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see. Still some time. Okay, so I do have one final question I want to ask before we get ready to wrap up the show. And this is a question based on all that we have seen from Elimination Chamber and then Raw and SmackDown and all this stuff coming up within the next couple weeks. I wanted to ask you guys, based on what you've seen, now that you know Roman Reigns is going to face Brock Lesnar, now that you know some of the potential matchups, are you still excited for WrestleMania? Or do you think you still need to see more?
I'm not. that's just straight up. I'm not.
Okay. So why is this? What is it? The Reigns match, or is it just it's too many other things that
It's too many other things. Nothing stands out as besides the AJ and Nakamura match. Nothing else stands out as worth watching. Like, we know the Ronda and the whole Kurt Angle thing. That's going to be a squash. You know, we already know how that's going to end.
Yeah, Triple H is going to win. Triple H and Stephanie.
Oh, they always win. They always win.
To her, like they did Sting.
What, lose every match? What are you getting at? What are you getting at? You see, there's your anger again. Oh boy.
It's possible.
No, I just don't see anything that stands out. It's nothing that's like, oh man, this is gonna be awesome. Remember, this match is gonna be good. That match is gonna be good. It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna be focused. I'm gonna be engaged. I don't feel it. I don't feel nothing stands out right now for me. And that sucks. You know, because it's gonna be a 5-hour event, you know, when you count, or 6 hours. I think it has a 2-hour pre-show. There's a lot. It's a lot going on.
Yeah, and speaking of the pre-show, I'm pretty sure that all the goodwill that they have done with building up 205 Live, that match will still be in the pre-show and not anywhere close to the actual event itself. Just like last year, where Austin Aries and had a great match with Neville, and they had that on the pre-show,
and no one was there.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like at 3:00, and no one was there.
I was there.
Yeah,
but it was just me. That's it. There was like no one else.
All right, so that's what Adam thinks. So how about you, Ricky? Are you excited for WrestleMania? You said you may go this year. So now, based on what you see so far, what do you think of the show? Are you excited or no?
I gotta be honest. If this wasn't happening in New Orleans, I'd have zero interest in even going. That's how little interested I am in the event right now. Like, AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura is maybe the only match expected on the card that I have any interest in seeing. Everything else is just, I mean, maybe if they do Cena versus Undertaker, even though that match would be like 15 years too late, it would still be, kind of interesting, I'm sure. But no, I'm not. Like, honestly, even though they're showing like the number of days left until WrestleMania and all that, I'm not like giddy. Oh my god! It's almost here. It's almost time. This is gonna have the most epic matches ever and everything. Like, I don't feel that way. And it's kind of sad because I love the feeling of like the anticipation of, oh, I can't wait to see this match. I can't wait for these guys to get at each other's throats and things like that. I mean, there's still time for them to really build it up and all that stuff, but no. I mean, I don't know. Like, and again, New Orleans. This is mostly about New Orleans for me to go. I've been to New Orleans before. It's a great time. I want to go, and again, I've been to WrestleMania a couple times. It's also a great time. I love being around the wrestling fans It's like a big open convention for other wrestling fans. And I think for anyone watching or listening, you should go to at least one WrestleMania in your life. It's a great experience. That having been said, like I said, New Orleans is the draw for me, not the actual wrestling. So there's no guarantee that I'll go. And so as far as the event, just giving you a long answer here, but just the long and short of it is, as far as the card, no, just not that interested in it right now. We'll see where it goes, but just not that interested.
I got you. And how about you, Dana?
I'm more interested in the Hall of Fame show than anything else. I think this is going to be more exciting than WrestleMania.
You're just saying that because of Jarrett.
Yeah, I because of Jarrett. Leave me alone. Look, I'm serious. Jarrett, I'm telling you, he's going to come back and he's going to be a part of creative, and everything is going to get better. But yeah, I'm only looking forward to the Shinsuke and AJ match. That's all I really care about.
Yeah, I mean, that is the only match I'm looking forward to right now.
And I don't want Undertaker back.
Well, I will say this. I know a lot of people don't want Undertaker to come back, especially those of us that saw him last year and how bad he looked. But if there is an option between having John Cena versus Undertaker and John Cena versus Rey Mysterio, everybody's going to say they want Undertaker back for that match.
I don't need it, because either way, it's too late. I think that once Undertaker lost to Brock Lesnar, that should have just been it.
Yeah.
Like, the whole reason why Undertaker was WrestleMania was because of the streak. And now that the streak is over with, and he's like, what, 65 years old now? There's no purpose for him anymore.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I mean, I recall watching him lose that match with Ricky. And we were both shocked when we saw that live, when we saw it. So, yeah, I would think, yeah, it should be over. But I don't know.
We literally said, holy shit, at the same time when that happened. It was crazy.
And I remember that the match after that, there was such a delayed reaction that then they started to react and was like, oh, my gosh, Undertaker.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah.
I always remember that face, one guy with the glass, like, shocked.
Yeah, a moment that should have been used to build up a new star.
Like, that's what I would have been cool if, like, Roman was the one who broke it.
Yeah,
it's just not a part-timer.
So, but in WWE's eyes, when Reigns beats Brock Lesnar, now he will be elevated, and he will be looked upon as the new face. So,
yeah, he'll have beaten Triple H, Undertaker, and Brock Lesnar back to back WrestleManias.
Mm-hmm.
They're obviously trying to elevate him way the hell up. And if they hadn't already thrown that match away, they might have done him beating Cena at a WrestleMania.
Yeah, and that was when I expected them to have their match at WrestleMania, but instead they said, no, let's have it on a throwaway pay-per-view. I don't even recall what pay-per-view it was, Backlash or one of the others. But yeah, I just don't get it. But we'll see what happens. Either way, definitely going to talk more about WrestleMania when it happens. So definitely stay tuned for that. But I believe that concludes our show for tonight. So I would like to ask if you guys have any final shout outs to give. This is the time. And Adam, how about you start us off?
Give a shout out to everybody that was watching and listening on downloads. Thanks for people subscribing. Thanks for just enjoying wrestling with us. Everybody loves wrestling. Shout out to everybody on the Throwdown, still playing a fucking crappy Monster Hunter. That's what they do. And yeah, enjoy it. And we'll see you guys next Friday for another 18-hour special of Friday Night WrestleCast.
Absolutely. Yes, Fastlane Friday next Friday. So we're going to definitely talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How about you, Dana? Any shout outs you want to give?
Shout out to everyone in the chat and everyone who listens and everyone who's breathing and loves Jeff Jarrett and hates Ronda Rousey. Also, shout out, shockingly, to Ric Flair. He had a rap video that had that basically it was like 2 million views in like one day or something, but it was a rap video. It's called the Ric Flair Drip, and it's like with multiple people, Offset and some other ones, and so it's just basically a video that it's a rap video that is, you know, celebrating the lavish lifestyle of Ric Flair. So congratulations to him for that.
Absolutely. How about you, Ricky? Any shout outs you want to give?
No, just shout outs to people watching the podcast, listening to the podcast, and yeah, check us out for our big Fastlane prediction show. I think next week, right?
Yep.
That is correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to everyone there.
Absolutely. And once again, thank you all for your continued support. Shout out to everybody that watched the show and listening to it after on the download. And that's pretty much it.
Oh wait, I got one more shout out.
Okay.
Shout out to Gary Swaby. Hey.
Oh yeah. We definitely give him a shout out. He was unable to make it tonight. You know, Carl Daniel also, but we started later, so we're definitely gonna have them on in the future though. But yeah, shout out to you guys, and we'll talk to you all next week.
Peace.
Peace.